Please stand and give the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hines, if you would. Stand or sit, whatever you like to do.
O Lord, I thank you for your many mercies. How great are your works. Your thoughts are very deep. Dear Lord, I ask that you would give guidance and direction to this meeting with your wisdom and grace. I pray for your peace and protection for our city, for all who work for and with our city. The Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever.
Thank you, sir. All righty. I need, are there any additions to the agenda? Mr. Walker?
No additions.
Mr. Rush?
Yeah, letter F, under road report, discuss surface treatments. This was from the budget meeting that we last had. Just an update.
That's it. Thank you. All righty. Case, anything?
Nothing.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. Oh, and then I was also asked too, with the microphones, if you end up talking with somebody, the person next to you or whatever, please shut your microphones off because it picks that up and it's hard for the clerk to hear the recording. All righty, treasury report.
For the month of July, we have a beginning balance of $821,178.98. Receipts of $448,545.60. Disbursements, which includes the fire department payroll, $291,659.13, leaving an unaudited ending balance of $978,065.45.
Any questions? Hearing none, then I'll go to public comments. We have one on here. Joan, is there any more than this one? Just this one? We have Todd Jackson. Todd, are you here? If you would please step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Council, my name is Todd Jackson, and my address is 104 Canterbury Road in Circle Pines, Minnesota. I'm here tonight to respectfully ask the council to consider the sale of the city-owned parcel 01-00404-001, located at the end of 287th Avenue Northwest on the south side of the road. This area returned to the conversation in conjunction with the riparian project on the neighboring lot south to it. My family has owned the cabin across the street since 1958, and although we don't live there, we've taken advantage of the lake for a number of years, and it means a great deal to us, as it has for generations. The parcel in question is a low-value, underutilized asset that continues to drain municipal attention and resources without a clear return. Over the past 66 years, we've seen many attempts to transform this parcel into something new, but every effort has stalled at some point. Nothing has come of them except incurred expenses for the studies, design plans, and lost focus on projects that have a greater civic impact. This land has remained largely untouched for decades. It is primarily all marshland with little potential for public infrastructure or recreation. Its condition reflects that. It's been minimally maintained and not prioritized, likely due to its low strategic value and environmental constraints. The Minnesota DNR has confirmed that there would be many hurdles for this property that would make any approval for changes or builds quite challenging. By selling this parcel to a responsible private party, someone who knows the land, understands its limitations, and values it, the city would eliminate maintenance and liability responsibilities, return the land to the tax roll, and be able to focus on viable public projects with real benefits to the greater population. There are always opinions about what could make a property better, but in this case, I believe the better path is for the city to move on and end the cycle of trying to find a solution for the unusable land. This land has never functioned as a useful public asset. After decades of delay and discussion tonight, I would ask that you respectfully consider the sale of this parcel, and if so, what steps would need to happen next to begin that process?
Okay, as this is coming to us in the public forum request, we are not prepared to necessarily answer any of those questions, other than to say that will and respectfully take your request into heart. I can tell you that at this point in time, the city has nothing for sale.
Okay.
If you will, at this point in time. We have not considered selling this in any way for anything like that. I know that you have, I know that it has been there, it has existed, well, since its inception.
Definitely,
Right?
yes,
You
yep.
know, and at this point, gentlemen, because I know we were talking about, I think there's a plan to try and restore some better lake value to that area, and this might be an asset.
Sure.
And so one question I maybe have for you is, if you owned it, would you be pro or anti that?
Overall, if I owned that property, I would be pretty neutral on the whole position. I think that it could be done, that excavation in that piece. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a successful project, just based on things that are beyond my level of expertise. But, I think, overall, if I did own that property, we'd be able to maintain some of the natural habitat that exists on the lake that we're slowly running out of, and then also give people, they wouldn't lose that access to the lake. It would just be a little bit easier for me to take care of, or any other private party, versus kind of what the city's able to do with it right now, because it's so wet.
I hope you understand that, I mean, because of the situation at this point in time, this is so preliminary, we're not even ready to say or talk about what the next steps would even
Right,
possibly.
yep, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, this is under discuss update on Elk Lake excavation. This was, under new business. So this, I mean, Todd and Scott were in our park meeting, last month. Discussions about, Scott and the surrounding area would like to improve that. They can't really improve it without that 1.6 acres that we own. So that's where it comes in with the land swap for that. And then Todd, and then I can't remember the other gentleman's name, from the Lake Association came in and said that they have strong opposition. So that's where we're at with this.
Yeah, and I was definitely unaware that there was the land swap or in discussion, being that nothing's for
Just
sale. I guess
discussed.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure where that would be.
Everything is so preliminary, we
Sure.
are literally almost nowhere.
Yep, yeah, no, and that's just why I wanted to get it out on the table. My understanding was at one of the park committee meetings, when it was being discussed, an offer from one of the committee members was made of, do you want to buy it, to a different party that is involved with part of the excavation. So that's why I wanted to make sure that if that offer, I mean, granted, she can't speak for the city council or anywhere, to that level, but if it is an opportunity, I would like to be in the running for it.
Duly noted.
All right, thank you.
Joan, that was the only one public comment request, thank you. We'll close the public comment portion of this and need approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
There's second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All right, we are gonna move into the presentation of our 2024 city township. Actually, this is the township audit, yeah. The last audit of is when we were a township. All right, and then Greg Burkhart, Mr. Burkhart from Burkhart and Burkhart, they are our auditors, if you will, Greg.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. As the mayor mentioned, my name is Greg Burkhart. I represent the firm that performed the financial audit of the township. Very last one. Next year, you guys will be a city, and you'll have a little bit different form and function to your financial statements, but a lot that I'm going to talk about tonight certainly can we can use that information to move forward and how things will be running once we perform the audit over the city. All right, so tonight what I would like to do is just talk with the council about the audit process. I'm sure you're all aware of when we were performing our duties and how we were progressing, but I'd like to give you some clarity on what is an audit actually. What do we do? Why do we do it? Give you all some information on the different responsibilities that are held with financial reporting so that you just have that greater understanding of what's happening. I want to touch on a few things that professional standards require that I communicate to governance. At the conclusion of this presentation, we'll touch on the financial condition of the township/city, give you some ideas on where you're sitting today, and hopefully that'll provide some information on where you're going to be in the near future. All right, so if there's any questions that come up as I'm going through my information, please don't hesitate to stop me. I'm very happy to discuss any questions or answer anything that you have. And then when I'm finished, anything that I don't touch on, we can certainly address as well. Okay, so everyone should have the printed slides in front of you. So that's the information I'm going to go through. Joan's got that up on the screen as well. So if we could start on slide number 1, it's going to be the bottom slide on page number 1. The information you see on this slide describes the different responsibilities that are held for financial reporting. Okay, so we'll begin on the left-hand side there under management's responsibilities. So management really holds 3 primary responsibilities as it relates to this audit. The first responsibility is for making all the accounting decisions. Okay, so management certainly confers with the audit firm to provide guidance on accounting issues and implementation of new standards, and we're very happy to do so. However, that responsibility does solely lie with management. Okay, the next primary responsibility relates to maintenance of internal controls. All right, so when you hear the term internal controls, what that means is your policies and procedures that the city has in place that will protect your assets. All right, so whether that be your cash in the bank, your savings, your CDs, it does also include equipment, infrastructure, vehicles, things of that nature. You need the right policies to ensure that you are safeguarding your assets. Okay, and then the final responsibility that management holds is to correct any errors that may be present in your financial records. Okay, on the right-hand side there, you can see the auditor's responsibilities are listed, and our responsibilities are really threefold, and they revolve around the different reports that we provide over the audit. All right, so our first report that we provide is what we call a financial opinion. We take a look at the numbers that were reported to us, and we attempt to determine, are they accurately and fairly representative of the balances and transactions that happened last year? Okay. We also provide a report on your policies and procedures. We evaluate the city and we attempt to determine what should be in place based on our understanding of how you all operate. All right, and if we see something that doesn't quite operate the way that it ought to, or we find something missing, we provide a report on that and describe recommendations for improvement. And then finally, we provide a report on the city's compliance with Minnesota legal compliance. All right, so the state auditor requires every government to be evaluated against 7 broad categories of compliance. And we actually spend an awful lot of time during the audit looking at checklists, evaluating different items or different responsibilities to ensure that if there was an instance of noncompliance, we will note it. And if we do note it, then we provide some recommendations for how to improve that or ensure that that does not reoccur. Okay. Over onto the next page, slide number 3. What we see here is a summary of the audit results for the year. All right, and again, we'll start from the left-hand side and move our way to the right. So under financial opinion, the first thing you see listed there is the city has received, well, the township rather, has received a qualified opinion. Okay, and that's qualified in my profession is really not what you want to hear. So qualified means that there is something wrong. All right, and what was wrong is that the city hasn't implemented a few accounting standards. I believe this decision was made several years ago, and it was something that the previous audit firm had noted in their report as well. So this has been ongoing for a number of years. GASB 68 and number 34. relates to how you measure and report pension liabilities and how you measure and report your capital assets. Okay? If that's something the city is interested in correcting moving forward, we're certainly willing to provide some guidance and assistance in that manner. All right, the next line you see listed there under financial opinion is what is really important. This one here states that you've received a unmodified opinion on everything else. So in my profession, we call that an except for. So except for not implementing those two accounting standards you see listed, everything else fairly represents the transactions and balances for last year. Okay, so the numbers that you see in that financial report and those audited financial statements can be relied upon, and you can use that information to make decisions. All right, the middle section there under internal control limitations, again, those policies and procedures. So we did note a handful of things that could be improved upon. All right, and we'll start from the top down. So the very first one you see listed there is what we classify as material audit adjustments. And this refers to some of the journal entries that we were required to perform to put those financial statements into a condition that allowed us to provide that audit opinion. Okay? The next one there, and actually the next two, really relate to the size of your accounting staff. So the auditor prepared financial statements, that one is necessary because we as your audit firm put those financial statements together on your behalf. That is a responsibility that the city holds. However, it's a lot cheaper, it's more efficient and effective to have your audit firm prepare those. And matter of fact, I'd say greater than 95% of the cities that we work with of your size and structure ask us to do that very thing. Okay. However, it is a limitation that you have, and really what the idea there is that if the city were to put those financial statements together yourselves, you would likely have a higher opportunity to find any errors or corrections and make those before your audit firm gets involved. Okay? Not anything I would be overly worried about, and we actually support the city asking us to prepare those financial statements. Okay? And then the final one we see listed here, it's called limited segregation of duties. And this really relates to Joan's role as the clerk treasurer. Doesn't necessarily mean that something went wrong. However, she holds an awful lot of accounting responsibilities, all right? Ideally, you'd like to see several of those move to other individuals, other staff members, okay? However, the city's budget would not likely support hiring 2 to 3 different individuals, one person to make deposits, one person to write checks, somebody else to reconcile your banks. So this is really just a consequence of the size of the staff that you have. And it's something that we recommend you accept the risk involved there, but ensure that you're aware of this situation and maintain your active involvement in the financial affairs of the city. That's going to be your best line of defense there. And then finally, on the right-hand side, did you have a question, Mr. Mayor?
No, I'll let you get through that, and then I'll come back at you.
Okay, sounds good. And then on the right-hand side, under compliance findings, unfortunately, we did note a few findings this year with those legal compliance categories that I mentioned earlier. The 3 you see listed there, the prompt payment of bills, that refers to the law that the state of Minnesota has in place that all bills that the city receives must be paid within 35 days of receipt. And we did note a handful of bills that did not make that standard payment period of 35 days. The other one you see listed, or the next one, the contractor's affidavit, refers to, it related to some of the projects that were undertaken last year. All right, so contractors, when you do business with a contractor, they're required to provide the city what we refer to as a responsible contractor form. Okay, so we were unable to locate that. The city was unable to provide us information that form was obtained prior to executing the contract. And then finally, under failure to acquire public safety equipment by bidding or proposals, there was some equipment that was purchased in '24 that exceeded a certain threshold. That threshold is $175,000. Once that threshold is met, there are several bidding, proposal, and other requirements that are necessary of the city, and we found that was not followed as well. Okay, so easier things to settle. I mean, we do run across this prompt payment of bills. That does creep up. It's actually quite common anymore nowadays, and I don't want to throw the post office under the bus, but there are times when bills do come in the mail that aren't as timely as you would hope. So in that situation, we would ask that the city would notate on those bills when they are actually received at City Hall. All right, not necessarily when they make their way here. So if some of them are coming into different departments, it's when the city receives them, not when the accounting team receives them, okay? And then to continue on with some of the bidding issues, we would just ask that you create a checklist, you know, and lay out specifically what needs to happen for any contract that is entered into during the year at these specific phase points or dollar thresholds to ensure that moving forward, the city is complying with all those different rules. Any question on any of those?
Basically, sans the acquire public safety equipment, the last one there, all of this is like any other township or city in the state of Minnesota.
That is correct.
So we are not any different than any other township. Well, this is about a township, but in the state of Minnesota. Our taxes are low because we have a short staff. When we do signing of checks and when the actual dollars leave the coffers of the township and the city still, whatever, every one of us has eyes on every check and has a signature on every check, at least initials on every check to see where it's going, that it's been spent properly. You talked about qualified opinion, whatnot, because we don't check our assets, and our assets are our roads, our buildings, and our trucks and the equipment. And so to list that, to have a list of that, for you to look at, whatever, that would be a pretty easy thing to do. However, you know, what are our assets? 80 miles of road, are they worth 2 billion? Are they worth half a billion? What are they? So how are we gonna put a number to those assets? Number one. Number two, you know what I mean? Here we've got roads, buildings, and trucks. I mean, we have 2 buildings. We have this 3 buildings, actually. This building, the fire hall, and the Brown building out at the park. I mean, if anybody wants to see what our assets are as far as buildings are, they don't have too far to go. Trucks and equipment and those kind of things here, whatever, we've got 7 trucks back there and a bunch of stuff over at the fire hall, right? And so, I mean, basically what you're saying here is we don't have that necessarily on a list. We have that, it's all here for people to look at, but we don't have it on a list. And I don't think that, again, this is gonna be like any other township in the state of Minnesota, whatever. So, and as far as the pensions, now the pensions, whatever, and the reporting of the pensions, that's all para. So that's the state of Minnesota that's doing that. So, I mean, I'd like a little more qualification on what do we need to be doing then for the pensions to report?
Sure, great questions. Yeah, so regarding the capital assets, and really the challenge there, it sounds easy in theory. You know, we just take and put all your equipment, your vehicles, buildings, and incorporate in your financial statements. But in practice, it's a little more difficult. Like you mentioned, you have 80 miles of roads. You know, so the infrastructure is really the challenging part for us to capture those values. So what you would do, let's say you had always put your equipment in your financial report. So as you construct or acquire equipment and capital assets, you would record those at historical cost. So each and every year you would put them on there, and then those amounts would be depreciated. All right, so it's kind of it's a way that accountants can describe how much of your road was used up this year. It seems kind of ridiculous to think about it that way, but that's really what depreciation tries to capture. You know, so if the city was interested in eliminating those 2 issues, you know, what we would do is start with an equipment list right off the bat and provide cost when that was purchased, when it was acquired. All right, and then getting your infrastructure in place, that's an area that you would put an awful lot of effort into. I would ask you to talk with your engineers. There's ways that you can kind of go back into some of your records and get the details that you need. If you can provide us with that, we would be very happy to incorporate those in the financial statements. And I think really that should be the overall theme for the city coming into being a city, because you're going to have projects. I mean, you have 3 or 4 listed on your board right there. If you can remove some of these blemishes in your audit report because you're not following some of these standards, you're going to be in a better place. You're going to have more opportunity for lower interest rate on debt, if you do end up issuing more debt, things of that nature. Regarding the pensions, yes, you're absolutely right. That is information that is maintained with Minnesota PERA. The pension vision there, they publish information annually that auditors use to put that on your records. That would actually be a lot easier to bring on than your capital assets, because we do that frequently with all the other cities that we work with. So, you know, if you're looking short-term, what could we correct maybe in '25? I would say let's get those pension amounts recorded, all right? And then moving forward, let's start talking about what would we need to do to bring on all your infrastructure, to bring on all the equipment that you've had, you know, from day one, essentially.
Fire equipment, that's, the CIP actually has all that equipment listed. When we got some of the numbers at the purchase time. It has one of those, I think. Would you then also need the pension from the volunteer firefighters, which is also PARE, but it's a different PARE fund and it's funded differently?
So you're in the statewide plan?
Yes.
Perfect. They would publish that information and they could provide that directly to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, that eliminates some of the issue, because if you had a separate standalone plan, then you gotta hire an actuary. The actuary's gotta do their report, it costs several $1,000s. But the fact that you're in the statewide plan simplifies that tremendously.
And we get that report, does that just need to get sent to you from us, or does that?
It would need to get sent to us, yeah. Joan would be able to request it from the
It's coming
custodian.
next month anyway.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think that would be a good step forward, is let's incorporate those pension liabilities. And then let's continue to maybe work on incorporating all the equipment, everything, you know, fire equipment's probably the bulk of it. You've got some buildings. The county's got records there that would be fairly easy to address and get those numbers on. It's just the infrastructure that would be a challenge.
back to fire equipment, turnout gear. Is that something that would be, or are you talking, you know?
Your radios, your turnout gear, your SCBA's, all of that, you know, we would probably ask you to look back maybe 10 years tops, because what is turnout gear? I think it's 10 years, right? Where you got to replace it, or that's its service life. So we would look at, you know, especially from an equipment standpoint, we'd want to say, okay, when would this equipment be used up? You know, how long do we expect a plow truck to last or a pickup to last? That's as far back as we'd go. And then we'd incorporate those on there. And then each and every year there forward, then we would capture the cost of equipment purchased that year, any infrastructure that was constructed, or improvements that are made, those would just naturally come together that way as well. Yeah, and it would give you a more complete report as well.
Yeah, do we know which payments weren't paid on time? I mean, we had some disputes on some bills that we didn't question the charges that we.
I believe, so I did take a look. I don't have check numbers in front of me, but there was, I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, but there was a fire department bill. I think there was some repair and maintenance charges for a vehicle. There was my memory's failing me at the moment.
Engineering or?
I don't believe so. I don't
I
believe
can
so.
explain the fire department bill, they had the old email address, they were sending it and it was getting lost.
Yeah, there was a few that were significantly past the 35 days, you know, but again, you have the option. So what the law says is you have, your standard payment period is 35 days unless you have a dispute with the vendor or you're disputing the goods or services that were provided to you, or you have other contract terms. You know, so when you're doing some of these larger projects, the contract that you sign with your prime contractor typically says you have 60 days to make a payment once you receive an application for payment. It's unusual for a city to wait 60 days to pay their contractor, but you have that opportunity if it's in contract. All right.
Tom, he is gonna get me that list. We do date stamp everything. When it comes in, it's a small stamp, but everything is date stamped. Right when we open the envelope. But he was gonna get us the list, cause I'm curious too.
Okay, thank you.
And I would be too, because that was my next thing, 35 days plus. I mean, so is there anything in your records or your audits? I guess this is gonna be a qualified opinion here. No matter what, right? Okay, but when there's real reasons, and Mr. Rush did bring up an engineering firm, I'll guarantee you, we have payments to them way over that because when they were disputed. And we had some trouble.
Yeah, so what we do there is we randomly select 60 invoices. And whatever we land on is how we audit those, you know, and we use those invoices and we test them for several different characteristics and several different attributes. The date payment, you know, the date of the invoice versus your date of payment are just one of those attributes that we evaluate. You know, and I think there was a list provided, Joan, I don't recall. I didn't specifically audit that area, but there were several that were beyond that, and I'm certain none of those were in engineering invoices.
Okay, but also too, not the end of the world.
No, this is common, unfortunately.
Responsible contractor form. What are you looking to see on a responsible contractor form?
Well, there's quite a list of items that are required to be on there. If you look at the statute, you know, Minnesota Revenue has a form that they've requested cities. When this law came into place approximately 5 years ago, or maybe a little bit longer, that they're expecting. So really what it does is it says, okay, this contractor is, in air quotes, registered with the state, so they've got insurance, they're bonded, they have a withholding account. So one of the big concerns that the state has is, are these contractors paying wages and are they withholding taxes? So there is several different items that they're looking for there. There's a number of cities, a lot of large communities that have their own form that they add to the bid requirements. But most of the communities that we work with, they just take the standard form that Minnesota Revenue has put together. And that's something that, again, that would need to be in hand before executing that contract.
When you
No
were,
different than a payment bond, performance bond, that sort of thing.
when you were performing your audit duties, did you contact Joan to see if the Hawkinson Anderson, the town engineers, or the engineers, your predecessors, had those documents? Because those typically don't come to my office as the city attorney, they go to the engineer.
Correct. Yes, we did, several times.
And do you know which engineering firm you were engaged with?
We're engaged with the city, you know, so I guess we didn't ask which engineering firm. We knew what contract it related to, and that's how we referenced that information.
The reason I'm asking is, there's a different.
This is a new city engineer?
The new versus the old, and
Gotcha.
as the mayor said, there's been significant issues with the old.
And and that likely could be the case. I don't know, quite honestly, where that timeline was, which contractor was, and which engineer was in charge. But I will point out that this rule, or this law, is in place for any contract that exceeds $50,000 for construction materials or construction activity. So there are times when you may end up contracting with a entity that your city engineer isn't involved with. Typically, when we work with projects of the size that you guys are undertaking, the engineers, they got all their ducks in a row, they do this frequently, so they know exactly what's required all the way down the line, or most reputable firms certainly do.
Sam, line up your ducks. Tell 'em.
I'll get them in line.
Mr. Mayor, we could, the clerk can just get that off the Department of Revenue site
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yep.
just print it and we're good.
Yep, League of Minnesota Cities may have a form as well, so there's many different areas that you could go to find that, and it'd be good to just have, and then know that when you hit these certain phase points, you know, 25,000, 50,000, 175,000, just know that if you get into that scenario, there are gonna be compliance requirements, and your audit firm will likely audit those contracts, so just be careful.
Okay,
Excellent, good conversation, I do like it.
I'm done beating you up on that.
No, you're good. I go through these reports all the time, and I'll tell you, people don't say a word, they look at me with a blank stare. I like the engagement here, so absolutely, fire away questions. All right, so we'll move on to the next slide, slide number 4, bottom of page 2. The information you see listed on this slide, I alluded to earlier, these are contain information that professional standards require I communicate to governance. All right, I'm not gonna spend an awful lot of time on any of this information here, simply because it's more fully developed and fully captured in a report that we provide that's titled a management letter or management report, and I trust that the council's had access to that. You guys can certainly look over that. It'll give you a much better handle on what this means than what I have available tonight. So we'll just continue to move forward. And so that gets through kind of the legalese, if you will, of the audit. So what I'd like to do from here forward is talk about your financials. All right, so we're gonna take a step back in time, and we're gonna look at where was the township a handful of years ago. All right, we're gonna evaluate where are you sitting, or where were you sitting at the end of last year, and hopefully we can use that information to give us some clues. Where are you going to be in the near term to help you guys manage your fiduciary responsibilities a little bit better? So, Joan, if you can move one slide forward, please. All right, so what we see here on slide number 6, bottom of page 3, is a representation of the township's cash and investment balances over the previous 5 years. All right, your governmental activities are represented by the blue bars. All right, so when you hear me say governmental activities, I want you to think general fund. But as a township, it also includes the road and bridge, your fire department, your equipment reserves, all of that. That is a government side of things. Your business type activity, and you only have one, is your sewer fund. That is represented by the orange bar. All right, so as I look at this chart at the top of this slide, you know, I see some trends. You know, we just start back there in 2020, and as you move forward, you can see that you were maintaining some really healthy increases in your cash and investment balances, peaking in 2022, and from 22 now into 24, there has been a decrease. All right, matter of fact, from 23 into 24, your governmental cash and investment decreased $630,000. All right, you do have some projects that are ongoing at the moment, and that certainly tells the tale there, but we'll get into some more information or more detailed information to explain what's really going on there. If you look, the orange bars, not a lot going on there, obviously far outweighed by what you hold in your government. That's very common. You're going to see that in cities of your size across all of Minnesota. Your business type, or your sewer fund, did see an increase in its cash of approximately $65,000 from 23 into 24. Okay, so your overall cash and investments at the end of 24 totaled approximately $2.4 million. It sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But how much is that really? How much is that for the city of Baldwin? Okay. Table at the bottom of that slide attempts to answer that question for you. We call it your days of reserves. So what I've done, I've got the same kind of general breakout, your government versus your business type, and I've taken the city's year-end cash balances for the last 5 years, and I've divided that by your average annual expenses, and then we multiply it by 365. So what that does is it converts your year-end cash to how many days can you operate under average conditions. As we all know, there isn't very much in government that's average. Your expenditures can wildly change from one period to the next, but it is a really nice measuring stick to see how things are trending. So if we look at that table, and we just kind of go across the line there, you can see, and we'll just maybe focus on the far right-hand side, the column that represents 2024. So for your governmental activities, you had 328 days of reserves. So your cash at the end of last year, that's approximately 11 months. All right, cities of your size and structure that we see in the neighborhood typically run between 12 and 15 months worth of cash reserves. You're certainly right in that wheelhouse. Your business type activities, or your sewer fund, obviously is carrying a lot less cash than the government side. However, nearly the same amount of reserves. And that's really just a consequence of your sewer fund has far less expenses that it has to contend with. So again, the sewer fund is sitting at approximately 11 months. Typically what we see with business type activities is anywhere between 6 and 9 months. All right, so you guys have exceeded what we would see in the neighborhood and again, cities of similar size. All right, so let's get into some of the details here. So we can move to the next page. Top of page 4, slide number 7. What we're going to start now is we're going to talk about your general fund. All right, and you're going to hear auditors and financial advisors, municipal advisors. We look at general funds, especially when now that you're a city, because they can really give us a lot of information on the financial health of a city. Okay, and very specifically, what I'd like to do is talk about the general fund's fund balance. Okay, so when you hear an auditor say fund balance, I want you to think net worth. That's what that is. All right, you can think about it as a cash balance, and that works. There's a lot more involved than cash, but it's really your net worth. So again, as I look at this slide, we have a chart at the top there that shows 5 years. Your total net worth or your total fund balance is represented by the red bars. Your unassigned fund balance represented by the green bars. So why do audit firms and people who evaluate financials worry about unassigned fund balance? Well, let me define that. So your unassigned fund balance is a representation, how much of your net worth does the council control? Or how much do you have discretionary spending authority over? There are certain fund balances that the city doesn't control. So if you issue bonds, that the proceeds of those bonds can only be used for the purpose that they were issued. They're restricted by law. Well, that green on that table there, that chart, that's what you have available to you. So as I look at that, and let's maybe just focus on the red the green for a moment. Again, 20, 21, 22, very stable, unassigned fund balance. 23, it kind of dipped. 24, it nosedived. All right, so at the end of 24, your available fund balance in the general fund is $60,000. Okay, now let's give some life to that number. The state auditor has some recommendations. Your audit firm has some recommendations. People that evaluate your financials and provide a credit rating have recommendations, and they look at that unassigned and they suggest, well, the state auditor suggests you should have approximately 50% of next year's budget in your unassigned category. Okay, I think that's a little low. A lot of the rating agencies out there would say 75%. I would say anything greater than 75 would be ideal. And the reason there is that you, as a city, receive pretty much most of your money in 2 different tranches throughout the year. In June, May, June, and then November, December for your property taxes and your aids, which approximates about 50%. All right, so if we look at the table at the bottom of this slide, that very first row, that fund balance percentage, that is your unassigned against that next year budget. So as you look at 20, 21, things were really good. 22, they were kind of dipping a little bit. 24, and now in 23, excuse me, now in 24, you're at approximately 6% of your average of your budget. That's far too low. As I look at that, my recommendation, and it is a recommendation that we have in the audit, for the city to improve that. Now, some of this may be fixed because you are a township right now, and general funds aren't as important to townships as they are to cities. So your road and bridge money and some of the other things that you're doing are gonna land in that general fund. So this may be a much different, you might have a much different view of this come next year. But this is definitely a dollar amount that I want you to evaluate and give some consideration to. Because it will affect you down the road, again, as you start issuing debt, as you start improving your city infrastructure. Okay? If we can move to the next slide, please. We'll continue this analysis of your general fund. So what you see in front of you here is a budget and actual statement for the general fund. Real simple, down and dirty, it's just a profit and loss statement. Okay? So if we start at the very top section there, the blue highlighted area, those are revenues. All right, that's money that the city brought in to your general fund, so you can see your budget, you can see your actual, and the variance against that budget. You guys were over your revenue budget by almost $200,000. The bulk of that variance related to plat fees of approximately $100,000, and then better than expected investment earnings of approximately $50,000. Okay, so if you're gonna go over budget, revenues are definitely where you want to do that. The next section below there, starting with the orange highlighted area, those expenditures, that's how the city spent the revenues that you received. And we take your expenditures and we break them into 2 categories, current and capital outlay. So your current expenditures, I want you to think operating costs. All right, this is your phone bill, your electric bills, salaries, those sorts of things. They represent expenditures that once you make that disbursement, it's gone. Wages, you pay them, they're done and over with. Capital outlay represents equipment. That represents disbursements or purchases that the city makes that have usefulness past 1 year, okay? So if we go 1 row below the capital outlay, that total expenditures, you can see the city's or the township's budget, your actual, and then your variance against that budget. And as you can see, you did exceed your budget by approximately $318,000. Okay, majority of that relates to some equipment that was purchased. I believe it was a playground, and then some public safety equipment as well. Okay, bottom line for the general fund, if we go to the green highlighted row, that center column, you see a number, it's in parentheses, $369,455. That's a change in fund balance. All right, in the governmental world, we don't say profit loss, we say change in fund balance. Given that that's a negative number, that is a loss. That is a decrease, and that's what contributed to your unassigned fund balance going from where it was in '23 to where you see it here in '24. All right, that's certainly something to keep in mind as we look to move forward into the future here. All right, on to the next slide, please. This is the last slide with any numbers on it, I promise. So we're almost done. What we see in front of you here is a cash flow analysis for your enterprise fund. Okay, and you guys have already heard me refer to that fund, the sewer fund, as a business type activity. Enterprise fund, we use those terms not interchangeably to confuse anyone. We use those terms because they have very important meaning. That sewer fund is meant to operate like a business. Okay. And as all good businesses out there, if you can't generate some kind of profit, you're likely not going to be a business very long. So that sewer fund needs to essentially run autonomous of the other activities of the city and generate fees and generate profit, which is very important. However, I would argue that profit isn't the only way to evaluate and measure these activities. All right, you don't pay your bills with profit, you pay them with cash. So what we have on this slide is an analysis of what happened to your cash balances. And it's a very easy thing to understand. You can look at where did the cash balances start the year for the sewer? Where did they end the year? Did they go up or did they go down? It's easy to understand. If it goes up, you had a better year than if it had gone down. You can do the same analysis from month to month, quarter to quarter. Strips away a lot of the things, and especially if you guys incorporate your capital assets, it takes away a lot of the journal entries that auditors do that can affect and change profit, but doesn't change what you have in the bank. Okay, so the very top row there, the blue highlighted section, is cash provided by operating activities. And real simply, that's just the reason that that fund is in existence. All right, your sewer fund is in existence to process wastewater. And in order to do that, you have a lot of bills that you got to pay. Okay, so because of that, you set rates for your customers in order to pay those bills. And whatever's left after you've paid all your bills and collected from your customers is called cash flow. All right, and you want to anticipate having some money left. Well, unfortunately, I got 2 years listed there. Your cash flow from operations has actually been a negative the past 2 years, which essentially just means that you have more bills than what you were collecting in revenues. Okay, so I'd like the council to give some consideration to that. I know that you recently raised your rates in '25, and I would ask that you give some more further consideration to rate adjustments if these cost structures are going to continue the way that they are. Okay. The other 4 items that you see listed there below cash flow from operations, below that blue highlighted, those are other uses of your cash that you won't find on your profit and loss statement. All right, so your debt service payment. You can see that the city has roughly $56,000 of debt service that needs to be paid every year. You collect special assessments that were related to previous projects that the sewer fund undertook. You have some interfund activity, and that was actually quite important to the sewer fund this year. One of your capital reserve funds borrowed $120,000 to the sewer, which absolutely helped its year-end cash balances and gave it. It did. And I support that, and you need to continue to take a look at those overall balances to ensure that you have a positive number. So about the middle of the slide there, you can see that increase or decrease in cash. You guys did go up $65,000 this year. All of that was supported by that loan that you provided to the sewer fund. Okay, and then below that, last part of that slide, you can see the previous 4 years historical increase or decrease, and your 5-year average is actually a negative. So you're slipping back there. So again, I would ask that the council take a look at those rates, ensure that you're generating enough cash to pay the bills that you guys have in front of you on an annual basis. Okay, on to the next slide. This is your audit team for the year. There are numbers on this one, but these are probably a little bit better numbers. So these are the gentlemen that helped me perform the audit. My name, obviously Greg Burkhardt. I was the audit leader. Luke, Paul, and Dane assisted me in one capacity or another to get us to the point where we are. I don't know if it comes through in my presentation style, but I do actually really enjoy this part of my job, coming out, talking to councils. You guys have an awful lot on your plate, a lot of different pieces that you got to deal with and cover. Financials are only just one small piece of that, you know, so if I can help provide some guidance or some information or clarity to make your jobs easier, I'm thrilled to do so. My number is up there, my email address. We stay in very close contact with Joan throughout the year. And I want to open that opportunity up to the council at large as well. If there's something that we can help with, we'd be happy to. And matter of fact, anyone on the audit team would as well. So. That is everything I wanted to discuss this evening.
Any questions?
Oh, thank you. Appreciate your time and.
You're welcome.
Detail of the report.
Welcome. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burkhardt. Yep. Appreciate that.
You have to go back from the.
Okay.
Part of the job. Not too bad.
Commissioner, and even more important, Brian Lawrence, our state representative, welcome. All right, we will move, if there is no questions for Greg, we'll settle that, and then we'll move into engineering. Let's discuss disapprove soil testing at PID 01-00405-0040.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. Just wrote up a little memo for this, kind of to summarize what we have done so far into looking more into this. I know this was brought up last meeting, and Mr. Mayor, you had said we should consider getting this tested because of the septic reasons nearby. So I started with reaching out to the SWCD to see if they would perform testing, and their reply was that they typically do not, since this was not a targeted study, so it wouldn't fall within their testing responsibilities. I was referred to a few different testing agencies that they would give to residents if they were to test, and probably the best one was the University of Minnesota. So, and then based off their recommendation, they suggested there's two separate areas where the sludge is appearing, so they suggested 2 tests per area. And then based off the University of Minnesota's website, those tests per test could range from about $30 to $100. They have $100 would be if you wanted every single thing tested on their list, and $30 would be kind of the bare minimum that the SWCD required. So wanted to summarize this because I think council is deciding whether to keep pursuing this or not.
Tom?
Yeah, so I did talk to Dan, and he said that $20 was a soil sample. He's talked to the resident several times. And then if it was something to do with water, water sampling, it would be water labs out of Elk River who they would recommend. But his feedback to me was due to the abundance of rainfall we've had, that the oxidation of the minerals has come up to cause that discoloring. So that's what he said, so I just want to give you a little insight there.
I would suggest that we move forward, contact the University of Minnesota and tell them to test both spots. Now, the question would be, is it the minimal test or is it the maximum test? Gentlemen, I think the difference between $30 and $100. If they look at it and they see, oh boy, this looks like something worse than the minimal test, leave it to that discretion, or at least be told that, you know what I mean, the maximum would be in both spots. At some point in time, I mean, literally, we have ooze coming up out of the ground in 2 spots, and everybody, the county has turned their back on it, says, no, you have to deal with this, whatever. I think we can do better. As a city, I think we can find out what that is, at least by the testing means we have possible. Literally, if we're talking $200 worth of testing here at this point, I think we'd be crazy not to do it. Because if it is something environmental, then it's environmental, that's the way it is. If it does lead or point some fingers to some other directions, well, then we need to be aware of what those directions need to be and what we need to do. And if it does really turn into be a homeowner issue and a civil issue, a civil matter of some sort, well, at least we have some grounds to base our opinion off of. So, I mean, I would make a motion to contact the university, have them go out there, look at both spots, and just, yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I do want to add, I do believe we, or either Hawkinson or the city would have to take the samples and bring them down to the university. I do not believe they come to the site and take the samples, they just do the testing.
Oh, okay. So are they going, would the university then have any driving factor whatsoever to where the samples were taken from?
I
How
don't,
many samples, that type of
so
thing?
that was based off, the SWCD suggested we would take each location, so there's 2 of them, 2 samples per location, so 4 tests total. And that, they believe would be a good enough average to get a good idea of what.
And the size of these samples, is this something we could box up and send UPS? Is this something we need a truck deliver? We need a dump truck? What are you talking?
That I do not know, I could get into it, or do additional research. I envisioned it be more so you just need a little case or something, and,
Mason jars.
yeah, but, yeah, whether you can mail it or not, I'm not sure. But I can definitely look more into it.
Mr. Mayor, so I know we sent, Matt Kind out there last fall, and we sent, Sam out there this spring. So the city has already invested engineering fees. At this point, my opinion is, that this falls on the homeowner, paying for this soil sample of $20. I don't think the city should be paying for soil samples if our engineers haven't found out anything the past 2 times they've been out there. That's just my opinion. I know we have a motion on the floor, but,
Well, I haven't finished that.
oh, sorry.
But now I'll finish that motion. I would motion that we find out from the university about transport and find out what that needs to be. If I gotta bring it down to the university, I'll bring it down to, I don't care. You know what I mean? I mean, at this point in time, I think we need to find out what that ooze is, because it seems to be never ending. It doesn't go away. It's continuing to happen. It looks like something rather nefarious, if you ask me. They're coming to us asking the answers. They went to the county looking for answers in the beginning. The county said, to heck with it, you're on your own. I think we can do better than that. For the tune of a couple $100, you know what I mean? I would make a motion that we spend that and do this testing. Use the university.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? I understand, Mr. Rush, that I understand it, but I think this is it's a necessary thing.
And Mr. Mayor, I think this protects the city from blowback in case it is something else.
Done our due diligence.
It is coming from underneath the road, the spring,
One of.
coming through our right of way. One of them is.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All righty, discuss, approve, disapprove North Elk Sandy Lake survey. North Elk Lake survey, geez, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council. So I wanted to throw this attachment together. I believe this was discussed a few meetings ago about getting some encroachment agreements made for retaining walls, head walls that are out throughout this roadway project or road. So I did a preliminary walkthrough, drive-through through it, and I found potentially 23 properties that may fall within having to get an agreement made. So it's hard for me to tell the exact without having the property line staked. So that would be the next step in this, is having our survey crew and inside guys put together the points for these property lines, going out and staking them, then we can know for sure if any objects are within the right of
The
way.
wishes of the council.
These are the ones that have been there forever.
Yes, well,
The
the walls,
1960s.
a lot of the walls. Yeah, I don't know how exactly old they are.
I mean,
Are they in the, is there some sort of obstruction? What's the encroachment?
my personal opinion, if they've been there that long, I don't see tinkering with it.
This was discussed at a,
Yeah, but I've never seen the actual, like, sort of pictures of what we're talking about. There, I was just told there was obstructions in the road right of way. And if we were going to grant people an encroachment agreement, a contract between the property owner and the city, basically what that would be shifting liability. If here in this picture, there's clearly an obstruction within what I would say is the road right-of-way. How far do you throw the snow? I mean, even if you didn't have this platted, how far you throw your snow is probably the biggest factor there. And this is clearly there, so if somebody hit it and sued the property owner, either we have them remove it, or the property owner would have to agree in order to allow it to remain, we'd want them to indemnify us.
Doesn't matter, like you said, I mean, these have been there since the 1960s.
Some are holding up like the water. I understand this, but I just think if you have 23 properties, what was it, 3,050?
To do the survey,
To
yes.
do the survey, then plus we get your time in there. You're
will be.
You're
So-
looking at some,
You are, for that number of, because each one would have a separate agreement. And if the property owner is agreeable, then it's no big deal. Everybody signs it, you guys approve it. But if not, then then it's an obstruction in the road right of way, and do you want to go forward with court enforcement?
Mr. Mayor, so if we just leave it and somebody crashes and gets hurt in that obstruction, the liability could fall on the city.
Yes, but as well as the property owner.
Right, but
I mean,
still be
the
some.
way the lawyers are taught, where I'm taught in law school, I have to bring all necessary parties to the table. So if I think you might have liability as a lawyer to protect myself from malpractice, I'm gonna sue everybody and then sort it out later. I can't tell you how much the court would look at a judge or whoever's the bench trial or court trial or jury trial, where they would assign liability and fault.
Right, my point is that if we're talking about it, it's out there. We're aware of it, it's out there. Let's protect the city and at least get these agreements. I'm just trying to protect the city on it. I understand people have had stuff there. Let's just get the agreement that if they want to keep it.
why don't we just have our staff send letters to the homeowners and to see if they
Well,
would remove.
whatever the attorney says to do
No
to make
offense,
it
Bob.
No,
protect
I'm
us.
not, no, typically, what we do, if there's an obstruction in the road right of way, someone, either Dan, myself, say, one of us, Joan, somebody writes a letter and says, this is an obstruction within our road right of way, this needs to be removed. And typically, I'll attach the photograph like that, and I'll say, I want you to go back, 10 feet, or whatever it is that you want. And then, if this person wants to keep it, then, of course, they can approach the city, and then we would do an encroachment agreement. And typically, when we do an encroachment agreement, we usually ask them to pay for it, because they just have time, and normally that's a recorded document, because that's something they want to keep permanently, so there is going to be, you have to put that in recordable form. That takes time, and there's a $46 recording fee. So all of these things, and when you're talking about the number that is in here, that is going to be pricey. So I want you guys to, when you're talking about this, to know what you're getting involved in. 23 different contracts, which means contact with 23 different property owners, 23 different recording fees, Yes, it'd be nice to know where the road right-of-way is, but under what is your basis for that, determining that road right-of-way? Are you basing it on historic use and maintenance, or is it platted? Or, what is the,
So this area is platted, so
that's good.
So and I do want to add, 23 is just going off my eyeball. We have to start with something, because I don't know where the property lines are, unless they're staked. So 23 was a very, I wanted to play it safer than sorry, since we're doing this, want to do it right. 23 properties are just the ones I thought may have issues, some are very obvious, some are not. So it very well could be much less than 23. Once we actually get the property line staked, which is what I'm requesting now, we will know for sure if that object is actually within the right of way or not. So it very well could be much less than 23, but that's just for now, based off worst case, I guess you could say.
And it's not unheard of in my world, and probably Sam's world, where one person starts to do it, and then over time, everybody starts putting their stuff in the road right-of-way, and then all of a sudden, it's gotten so bad that we have to go out and basically clear out all of that area. And that happens. encroachment agreement is a, how would I say, it's like a compromise. It's saying, we recognize, you recognize this is our road right of way, you recognize we are allowing you to do something that you otherwise shouldn't be doing, we're allowing it to stay, but under these conditions, if we need this road right of way for future maintenance, you know that you're gonna may have to remove everything at your expense within so many days. Also, if somebody does hit it, and I understand people haven't hit it maybe in 50, 60 years, but
Is something grandfathered in?
Well, how do we know that they haven't hit it in 50 or 60 years? It'd be a sheriff's report previously. There could have been an accident there that we're not aware of.
because if this is
Somebody got hurt.
platted, you have the right of way already. When they bought the house, that's the, when the lot was platted, that was there. So even on that one, that takes away a lot of the people's, well, the snow couldn't have gotten thrown that far because I had this obstruction. So therefore, no, it was platted. So we know where it is. We just have to determine where that line is. There's no question it's right away.
Okay, I said my piece. I don't know if these
I'll make a motion to have the engineer find out whatever you were gonna find out for the distance there.
Survey, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? I think we need to do this to position the city in the right position. We need to be in the right place for all of this liability. That could be huge, huge dollars. So, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign?
Aye.
Well, that's 3-2, motion passes. All right, letter C, discuss, approve, disapprove 123rd Street and 287th Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So this is a road segment that's been ongoing for a little bit now. We've reached out to Knife River to provide a quote for a bituminous overlay on 123rd and 287th, or 278th. And they did provide a quote back. City requested to ask if Knife River would drop the mobilization charge, and Knife River has agreed to go 50-50 on the charge, so this is the most up-to-date estimate with that reduced mobilization charge.
They split it with us, that's 10%. What are the wishes of the council?
I'd say we get another quote.
Wishes of the council?
So them paying half of the mobilization, what are our alternatives? Going out for different quotes or what?
Oh, we certainly could go out for other quotes. And this would be a quote, this falls into the quote, I think it's 31.6. So ultimately what had happened is the road was done, remember this was the culverts that were replaced, whatever, and we had done the eastern portion of that road and brought it up to standards, if you will. But this section, the question was thought, and the thought was brought up while they were doing the 305th project, if this could ultimately, because they're in the area, give us a bid on finishing this, maybe that'll help us with the mobilizations or whatever the deal was. The way that it all ultimately came down was, and Tom, you're the road guy, you probably know more about this than I do, but at any rate, the way it came down was they did it as an extension to the 305th Street project, and they just did that. So as a change order, if you will. But at any rate, so ultimately it was about a $35,000 change order at the time to do that. They widened it. They didn't do any subgrade
Or shouldering.
base changes or anything like that. They replaced the asphalt. They did all of those kind of things. So there was a bunch of things that were. Now we went out and we looked at it. They're willing to do some milling and do some other work in one area that was low that they know that they screwed up. The number to put a second lift, basically, this is like a wear course on what we would do on a standard road. And they want to charge us $35,000 for that. 31.6. So literally, this is more asphalt than what they had talked about, you know what I mean, in the very beginning, you know what I mean? This was a transition, between engineers while this was happening also as well, you know? So here we are. So the thought, Knife River's thought, our engineers' thought now here is if we double the thickness, we're gonna get more, better product in the long run, for that road. And now would be the time to do it, 1 year after the first freeze thaw, things have happened. There's a couple of linear cracks that are beginning to happen, whatever, and to think that shoring it up with $31,000 with asphalt will help mitigate that. If not, stop it completely, that's the guess. No guarantees.
So if we went out for other quotes, there would be just, they would be able to do it without a problem, or?
They should be able to come and do it, whether they would be the same, whether it would be more, whether it would be not. Knife River One for sure is gonna be out there doing their repairs anyway.
And
Part of the reason why I believe that they are also willing to, well, they're gonna need more equipment out there than they would need.
So they're gonna be out there anyway.
you're gonna need, under municipal contracting law for quotes, you need 2 quotes. And if this is the only quote you have, you need to get 2 quotes.
Well, what I'm saying, Bob, is we hired them to do a job. They didn't do the job correct. We all know that. It was poorly done. We were even out there with the engineer and the contractor, and there was puddling on the roads, there's lines, the shouldering was not done properly. You know, culvert was put in backwards. And then we had wetlands, deal with. So to me, that's fine. I think, me personally, I think they should eat it, but, I think we go out for other quotes, and, there's other contractors out there that have a proven good track record with the city. That's just my 2 cents.
That's a motion to go out for a quote, another quote? Well, actually, we need to, according to the attorney.
I'll make a motion to go out for quotes for it.
Is there a second? I'll second. Motion and second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Letter D, discuss punch list and, the wearing course paving at Oaks of Battlebrook, 2nd edition.
Well, both of us.
I can speak.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. So this item was initially added to the agenda because Josh Jondal had asked what the city's thoughts were, if they would be able to put the wear course out on the Oaks of Battlebrook 2nd. So normally this is spelled out in the developer's agreement, but for this case, this developer's agreement did not state that. It's usually based off a certain amount of time or a certain percentage of houses are built within the development. So the initial thought was, since this isn't very clear, we'd bring it to council and come to a decision on if they can pave the wear or not yet. However, in preparing for this, I had some guys run out to check over the development as a whole, and we discovered some very severe erosion problems that are happening almost in every pond out there and a lot of the ditches. So in light of that, we created a punch list that basically states all the issues that are going on out there that we are requesting get completed before we even think about putting the wear course on.
There's also, like, I think some of the roads, the shouldering is crumbling.
Yeah,
too.
they essentially came down to they didn't get their vegetation established, which made it suspect to erosion, and with all the heavy rainfalls we've been getting, it's kind of turned into a mess out there. But I did bring it up to Joss, and he is aware of the erosion issues, so he knows it does need to be fixed and addressed, so.
So are they aware of the punch list?
Yes, the punch list was sent out last week.
And what did they say anything to you about it?
Yeah, so he did call and he brought up that, yeah, he does recognize the issues with all this erosion. First and foremost would be get the washouts cleaned up, get everything regraded, and then, get some more, it looks like there's barely any topsoil out there, so that'd be a key component of getting things to grow. I mean, you need topsoil,
So
so
you have sent this to him?
this, our punch list, yes.
Mr. I think we should get the punch list done before we approve the,
Correct. How long do we want to give him to get that done?
I'll defer to the engineers. How long does he think it'll take him to get it done?
Oh, they can get it done this year. I mean, it's the best time to grow grass is in the fall, so if they can get the grading shaped up and washouts cleaned out, you know.
Well, the silt fence and all of that stuff, so.
Oh yeah, so silt fence and anything erosion, we call it a,
Rather immediate.
yeah, we call that a BMP, best management practice for erosion control, so those need to be fixed immediately. They would be in violation of,
And you'll touch base with them to
yes.
reiterate that needs to be handled immediately.
Are they gonna do any saw cutting in there?
From your pavement edge? Is that what
Yes.
you mean? So that will definitely can add into this and let them
Okay.
know.
Well, if you say September, I know state fair time, 10-1, or is that too
How
late?
about just until the punch list is completed, like you initially said?
When is that?
Well,
We got more.
yeah, some of it's gonna take, like I say, it's gonna take a little bit of time, like I said, into the fall. They're the ones that wanted to do the second lift.
October 1st, I think, is a.
Yeah.
We want to get this moved.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'd just say have in your motion that the list has gotta be completed first
Is that your motion?
By 10-1.
by 10-1.
Is that your motion?
No,
That was your motion.
you're the roads guy.
That's your motion.
Yeah, the punch list to be completed, all 20 items on there, punch list,
Plus
I mean, the
you're
saw
gonna
cut.
add the
the saw cutting,
saw cutting.
and we'll give them till 10-1 to complete that.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Okay, Frontier Trails update. Scott and I met with, NSU. I think at some point in time, we've got a few more things to discuss at this point, whatever, but I think they were the only ones that gave us a bid. And answered the RFP for anything on the subdivisions.
And,
Mr. Case.
and they are they're not taking care of everything, so there's gonna be a bunch of stuff that
Maintenance, mowing,
city,
concrete blankets, and.
some other stuff that the city is gonna be responsible for.
I think that,
Yes, and so, they, basically what it is, for the dollars they proposed, any of the, pump repairs, any of that, that's above and beyond all of that, that's not included in that. That is the monthly testing, that is, weekly inspections, basically, of everything, that includes all of that. But, literally, if pumpings need to happen, we're still gonna have to hire that out, that'll be above and beyond. Chemicals obviously are above and beyond what they are. He was willing to work with us as far as us purchasing the chemicals and the components and those kind of things, whatnot on our account. So we don't have to charge tax, blah, 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 and these types of things. So there's where we're at. Everything is running well. Had a bad float fixed the other day. Not planning on any major maintenance since you have a new company, hopefully running the facility. So, let's see here, we, took in $5,000 and we spent $6,000. So that is, seems to be it with that. We had also discussed, and now it's not, we need to do some more budgeting, whatever, but we are seriously gonna have to look at what the utility rate, is, and that is probably gonna increase, you know what I mean? We'll see what that is. Okay.
Mary's got
Yes.
2 quick questions, if I may. So the maintenance duties for our maintenance staff, is there anything else besides this, the snow plowing, the cutting of the grass and the concrete blankets?
No.
That's pretty much it?
That's it.
Okay. And then second of all, will they be able to be up and running? Because I know Mike Gwynn's done at the end of August,
Correct.
which is almost a month away.
And everybody is in the understanding of what it needs to be. We are just, it's not on this agenda because we're not ready to make the jump yet. You know what I mean? So probably will be on the,
August 4th? Okay, thank you.
All right, road report, Mr. Rush, discuss public works report.
Yeah, everybody should have their Public Works report in front of them. There's a lot of, you already know about Frontier Trails. Park, if you guys haven't seen the beach there, it looks great with the restoration and all the, they had, took out 6 dump trucks of all the weeds there. Got a lot of compliments. The sheriff, put the, Sheriff Sherburne County put the buoys out there, so our guys didn't have to do that. And then Young Park, there's just a lot of mowing. And we've had a lot of vandalism that out at Young Park, with the porta potties being tipped over. I can go more into discussion on that, but they've been spending quite a bit of time out there. Yeah, it's just pretty much it. And then the roads is the biggest thing. They're trying to keep up with the hot patching, trees down from these storms, some cul-de-sac repairs as well that are, Al, I think's got further on the agenda. And I think they got all the mailboxes, all 19 of them? Yes, sir. Okay, so, from the snow plowing. Yeah, and there's some repairs on the case loader and open trailer. If you have any questions, Zach's here to answer them if you got anything.
Good, sir. Okay, discuss delinquencies of builder driveways. Mr. Rush.
Yeah, so, city council member Walker and I went out there, one developer, that has, a dozen, driveways on here that, have no driveway or culvert. Some of them are good. I think there was 4 of them. Some of them are, have a culvert but are not paved the 33 feet that we required. I think that was back in April of 2024, Brian, right? Or 23? 23, I think it was. Yep. So, yeah, I got them in there. So, I think we should, and some of these people are already moved in, did some landscaping too. Al, is there anything we?
Just a lot of washouts because there was no topsoil or anything to keep it from
So,
staying in place.
and then I know that, they were contacted and they said they were working on it, but it's been, going on a little over 2 weeks, 3 weeks now.
Have we sent them this list?
Yeah, we did send them, the list, yep, on, July 8th, but, we went out there afterwards, instead of sending the engineer, and wasting his time and taxpayer dollars, me and Al went out there and did a road tour,
Yeah, road to,
so.
And all this is one builder, right? One developer, one builder developer?
Yes. And then also they got, the building permits there below too, that they need a driveway application for that they haven't applied yet. I think there's
They'll not get a building permit
8 of
until they
them.
do a driveway application.
Driveways there.
Yeah, I think there's, 1, 2,
I think, wasn't there 2 of them that were on the county road that we really don't have any jurisdiction on? Or did you take those off?
no, I had him questioned, but there's only like a couple that are good on here. So, I mean, I think we need to, give them a time frame to do it. And if they don't, the city will, in my opinion, because, that's just my 2 cents. I mean, this has been ongoing. I mean, some of these permits were, back in, mainly a lot of them in fall of last year.
September 1, give them time.
Yeah, I was thinking that very same.
And then before they put their wear course?
Yep, September 1,
Yeah, September 1st. Send them a letter with this official.
or we'll do it.
I think ultimately,
When you
yeah,
say we'll do it, do what?
go fix all of the issues we see here.
I guess I don't have that list. I just would like
No,
to
there's a,
know exactly what, and do you have this, what, when you say fix the list here, not paved, these are all different driveways
yeah,
issues?
yeah, so some of them have a culvert in, but the city requires that you have at least, if you're not gonna do your full driveway, from our roads, have 33 feet paved from the road right away, and to have culverts in them as well.
Okay.
And erosion control, and some of these, don't all have all three of the criteria, or one only met.
Is your driveway ordinance, I don't,
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
didn't have my question yet.
I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, but does it have the ability, does it state in the driveway ordinance that if they don't comply, that you are going to do that and bill them, and then they don't pay, you're gonna certify it onto their property taxes?
No, it doesn't say that, but it doesn't say it says there will be a final inspection that must be.
Then what I would probably suggest is we update your driveway ordinance, at your next meeting, you adopt that with that language, and then it's not, nothing's grandfathered in. And then if we have to do that, then we have, and somebody challenges us, we have a basis for doing it. Your driveway, under state law, the driveway permit ordinance is self-effectuating. You don't have to adopt an ordinance, but I think if we're gonna start certifying costs, I'd like to have that under the Randolph Township
Yeah,
case.
so that's my motion then.
Can I keep this?
Oh, yes.
I'll second.
Sure, you can have two of them.
You have three of them.
No, I just need one.
Okay, there's a motion to approve him to change our ordinance. Is there a second?
Al, did you second that?
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Then let's, we have this on as discussed. Let's bring this on to the next meeting.
August 4th.
Okay, discuss ditch mowing machinery. Mr. Walker.
I just want to kind of bring it to
She'll see you later.
council about ditch mowing, if anybody's interested in possibly purchasing ditch mowing equipment. It's not always, it's not always easy to, get a time frame to get that machine to mow ditches.
You're talking about the one we rent? I thought we were
Oh,
farming that out.
Well, we are, but it's never, it seems like it's never really available when we really need it.
And is there,
Then people
there
are-
problems with the boom going out there further?
Yeah, it doesn't go out quite as far with that one too, so it doesn't, it's not covering what needs to be, like the brush and stuff keeps growing out.
So Daryl does also Blue Hill, he does ours and he charges us $4,600 and does it twice a year.
Charges us $4,600
Each,
twice a year.
yes. But I think from what I'm hearing, there's more, needs for more, to get out there for the
Further
tree,
out, yeah,
for the trees,
towards the brush or tree line.
knock it down.
A lot of times it doesn't get out far enough to get past the signs, some people can't even see the signs even though the ditch is mowed.
We had a boom mower once. Liked it, we got rid of it. So are you thinking another boom mower or something totally different?
Well, basically the same thing, but something that reaches out further. Because the other ones only go out, I think, where is it, Zach, is it 5 feet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 5 feet is all it goes, so you're just getting the slope is all you're getting.
Council?
That we hadn't sold the one we had, I wasn't here when you guys sold it.
And,
I think Livonia still has it.
Livonia has it, yeah, I think so. And they used to do it for us, but then they had so many, I think, breakdowns with it. We had an agreement with them, but.
Well, every time we turned around, it was broken. So it had, to this point, it had been the decision of the council that it was cheaper to spend $4,600. Back in the day, it was $3,500 to hire somebody to go out and do it. That way we're not no upkeep on the machinery. We don't have room to store it on a piece of machinery.
Well, last November, we rented one with a boom, how much was that?
$4,800. If I could expand a little bit. Since we have been without the boom mower, the road right of way has kind of been encroaching in on the roads. In certain areas, we're driving through tunnels. I think we could provide a much higher level of service and recoup some of those costs for the ditch mowing expenses per year. It could essentially pay for itself in a matter of years. And as Councilor Walker and I have seen at some of the trade shows, they have multiple heads that are attached to these four-wheel drive tractors, and it could also be a cross-compatible piece of equipment and also satisfy some snow fighting capabilities as well. Just looking to improve the level of service with piece of equipment.
So do you have something in mind?
I know, I just wanted to discuss
Or
it.
do you wanna rent it?
Well, I think it'd be better if we had our own, because
He
then,
does have a good point. Where are we gonna put it?
And some of the things, the tunnel that you're talking about on the east end of 285th, you know, turns and goes north, turns into, there it is, you know what I mean? Even with a boom mower, you're not gonna get, that is a tunnel, you know what I mean? Basically, what we need to do, what I think we need, what I've said before, you know what I mean, is for the brushing and things like that, let's put together a package of the streets and the places we know, you know, and hire and go out for quotes on. Anyway, on the,
Most trouble
brushing.
with?
Because we're gonna do that once a year or something like that, in different areas and things like that. I would think that brushing is different than ditch mowing. You know what I mean? You brought brushing in when you said we're driving through tunnels, because some of those things all false along.
Absolutely, I agree, there are absolute limitations to what I'm envisioning it as more of a maintaining the road right of way, sightline obstructions, corners, intersections, things of that nature, that, you know, the manpower, resource wouldn't be so taxed if we had a mower that, a forestry head or a rotary head that maybe a couple as we grow into it.
Well, and there's absolutely no doubt in the fact that it would be cool to have more equipment. There's no way, but we have two guys and part-time help in the summer. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if we have one guy working on one mower and one guy in our new boom mower, then we're not getting the other things done that our guys can get done. Sometimes here we go back to the thoughts of the board at the time, and so far until tonight. Hire some things like that done, brushing, big brushing projects, let's, you know, put a package together and see what they do. Cheaper than owning a piece of equipment.
I just wanted to discuss it, see what your thoughts are.
How much farther, what do you want out of the discussion?
I think we
I
did.
was gonna say, have them look around at the expo in October and report back what they see and find some prices, just so we know. Just for investigative, I'm not saying buy, but I do agree, we did have somebody come in here talking about brushing with the different applications that came in January. Also, there's another contractor that has one mounted on I think he leaves his excavator on a trailer, a bigger excavator, and just comes on, he's been doing that for Big Lake Township. Two parties in here that could do that.
Maybe I could check on prices with, yeah, because there's, boy, I can't think of his name, he's down by Zimmerman, he's got a bunch of equipment for that too.
Well, there was Belmore, and then there was TW Hauling has a setup. Just
Oh, maybe I could
people in
just
the community that could bid on.
talk with them and see what kind of,
See
what they would
they would do.
do, yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, discuss cul-de-sac repair on 127th.
Cul-de-sac on 127th, I got, it's getting all, it's just,
I caught up. I came to see here and see what the
What,
basic.
do you have anything to report while you're?
I don't have anything to report. I just wanted to come and check in, see how things are going, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
good seeing you, good seeing you.
Congrats again. Yep.
Yeah, 127th, the cul-de-sac is just, it's seen its better days. It's garbage trucks and buses and UPS and whatever turns around in there, and it's really starting to push up.
Did that on the
And
road
I
tour.
think we could get that fixed in-house ourselves, I believe, by getting some quotes on that.
Contractor.
But not in-house then.
Well,
Hired out.
Hired out.
Yeah.
well, hired out, yeah,
Quotes.
yeah,
Two quotes.
yes.
You know, normally I would remember that, but because with all of the troubles we had with 123rd, 287th and the culverts and the mayhem, whatever.
We'll just be thankful we caught it before Mr. Burkhart did, you
Saw
know?
the number, I'm telling you. I figured you'd have gone after him for us, but no. You're not earning your money tonight, Bob.
I know.
So
Okay.
I'll make a motion to have two contractors
Yeah.
go up for bid on that.
Are they gonna do a reclaim and overlay? Are they gonna grind it up? Are they gonna?
I think,
Somebody needs to write up something of what we expect to have accomplished.
it's-
I think if it was ground up, I think we could just
Yeah.
overlay it, because it doesn't have to be bigger or nothing, it just has to be.
We have one contractor that has done 4 of them the past year and a half.
Most responsible. Still need to.
Yeah, I know.
But I do agree, if you're gonna talk to somebody to get a quote and get a realistic quote, you need to be able to define exactly what your expectations are.
I think we can.
Just more importantly, the two people bidding need to have apples to apples information.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll let Alan, Mr. Zach run with that.
All right, we're discussing, bring back a number. All right, discuss, approve, disapprove Public Works attending the Fall Expo in October.
So moved.
October 1st and 2nd. Boy, we're talking about that already?
Yep.
Just think the fair is right around the corner. Was it
Maybe we'll-
33 days or something?
Maybe we'll have our plow truck.
Yeah,
What are the wishes of the council? You
We already
said
made a
motion
motion?
approved?
I
Who
seconded it.
You seconded? Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
and
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Letter F, discuss surface treatment.
Yeah, so this was discussion for, our last budget meeting we had. So I did talk to Sam. Basically, we're looking at, this is for Ellers, so you guys wanted more information. So looking for crack sealing in that polyfiber, you're probably looking at, probably 175 to 225 in that range a year. Cause we did about, how many miles of roads was it? Just under 15. That came a lot lower, but to continue that process. And then the next thing is, in talking to Sam, is the microsurfacing, they did that in Credit River. And it's 53,000, was that correct? 53,000 a mile, I think we calculated?
Yes, yeah, about 10.25 a foot, so.
So so it's really rough, kind of like you can't skateboard, but then once the plows hit it, that first season, it smooths it out. So it's working pretty good for the municipalities that you do, because they just don't throw the, was it the chip seal all over the roads? That's not recommended no more.
Sherman County just did it on 2.
Did they? Oh, and then we had everything updated by Allied 2 years ago for the PCI gradings of all of our roads. So that's a good starting point to look at it. And then the next one will be the mill and overlay, and the last one will be the reclaim. And that's a little bit more expensive. So with 80 miles of roads, if we do up to, I'll say, just throw a number, 15 microsurfacing, kind of get us a 5-year plan out for Ellers to bond, or not bond, but to budget. I think that will be a starting point, just something to think about. I'm just, 15 is just my number, you can reduce it, and then we also like to try at least a mile or 2 of road, to see what the council likes, you see if it's worth it, and traffic.
What's the annual cost of all these treatments that you're planning to do?
Well, if you, whatever the council wishes to do, how many miles of roads?
Well, if we're doing a fifth, because you mentioned a 5-year plan, so
Yep.
you're doing a fifth of
Yep.
roads. What's a fifth of each one of those things to do of what roads you have? What's the annual cost? So if we're gonna try and keep these roads up, let's figure out an annual cost on a 5-year plan, so we know what we got.
Oh, it'll be 795,000 for micro surface if you go 15 miles a year.
Per year.
Yeah, we can reduce that, and then the crack sealing and the polyfiber would probably be 200,000, so you're looking at almost $1 million.
Okay. So we're looking at $1 million to do road surface treatments per year the next 5 years.
Yeah, if you want to go.
And not
15.
counting the inflationary aspect.
Correct.
That is a great discussion for us to have at our next.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you those numbers.
I just wanted to know what the numbers in my head, so we got them.
Sam, do you have anything to add on that?
One thing quickly I wanted to add to it is the talk of micro surfacing. I know, me, Shane and Zach had actually met out when we were going over the crack sealing job. And if the council really wanted to jump on something even this fall yet to see how micro servicing looks, see, get the feel for it to see if it's something you guys want to pursue. We did discover, we think, so up north by the industrial park on 313th Avenue, going east-west between the county road and the highway, and then north from there, 126th Street. We think those would be some good candidates if the council did want to pursue yet this year to try and do some micro surfacing, see how that plays out over the winter, see how it looks in the spring, and see if that's something everyone ultimately likes, doesn't like, and a good little test run, I think.
What would the approximate cost of that be?
So construction wise, I think it'd be around 44,000 to do those two streets. I know 126th has some little legs coming off of it. I believe 316th and 314th. But those could, if we wanted to throw those on too, it might be a little more. But, so that's construction only, and then whether the council would want to do that in-house or get us to help, you know, that's, would be an additional fee as well, but.
44, you said.
So,
Wishes of the council.
I mean, I would like to try it, but, I mean, we can
I
discuss
would
it.
like to see it tried. Because it would probably give us at least up to 15 years on that same
So
road.
you're talking 313th and 126th, not
Correct.
125th, not the actual service road, not 125th.
Yeah, the one that's about midway on 313th.
And so how many contractors out there do this microsurfacing?
That, I know it's pretty popular. I don't know how,
So it's not gonna be hard to get 2 quotes for both.
I can't imagine, no, it's a very popular thing that cities are starting to do. And
What are the wishes of the council?
I would.
No, it's for me, it's for me.
It's for him.
He's trying to please me.
I would make a motion to do
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Let's prepare a quote and get numbers for those 2 roads. Sure. We good with that? Because I just added something here.
Yeah, I'm good with that, friendly.
Had to have Sam prepare the bid for this. Excellent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Let's see here. Table items. Discuss, approve, disapprove, city staff health insurance annual renewal. You guys met with them here today. We're gonna have a 12% increase, actually. Okay, Health Partners is what we have now, and there's going to be about a 16% increase. If we change to Medica, we'll have about a 6% increase, right? Got that from your email. Wishes of the,
Medica is also cheaper overall. What was it, 6,000 a year for the 6,000 something a year? Cheaper.
what are the wishes of the council?
These Medica plans, you can pick. HSA plan, and the costs are about
I think the plan that they got right now does more coverage.
That's your motion. With that? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Can you explain more the more coverages?
Well, it's more out of pocket with the other policy. And there's some stuff on there, some of your, not extras, what do you call them? What do you call them? It's not really covered on there. It's out of pocket. It's an extra $150 every time you go to the doctor.
Okay, on the, which,
The
on
policy they
Medica?
got right now.
Can you go to the Medica one, please?
Super good coverage.
Health Partners is 10 to 12% increase.
Yeah, it's gonna go up significantly.
Yeah.
That's my concern. Can you go to,
6 to 8%.
Joan, can you go to just the medical coverage, please?
But you start looking at some
There,
of the
that one,
coverage.
that one. Thank you. So where's the
Specialty, 150.
the what?
Specialty
Yeah,
visit.
that's a specialty. That's not a going to a doctor. That's a specialty visit.
Yeah, but, I mean, if it ever did come up, if you're already out of commission, that 150 is hard to come up with.
So according to this, it would be if we stuck with Health Partners, it would cost $132.80 more a month per employee. And this would be about $6,400 for all 4 employees extra a year,
So we're gonna be paying,
if we go with that plan.
right, if we stay with Health Partners.
Yes, that's what I'm reading. And Medica has a proposed increase of 6 to 8% for next year.
So what, I wanna help the employees and they're not, they're not paying any, insurance coverage other than what's in the plan. Most employers, you pay monthly to have that coverage. So I think it's a good deal the way it is now. I think taxpayer wise, going to Medica, Medica's a good company. I've had them, I don't have any concern with that, so. Most municipalities switch healthcare quite often, depending on what it comes down to, so. Just my thought. There's a motion on the floor, so.
Yes. Did we second it? You seconded it.
Yes, yeah.
The motion is second. Further discussion?
This is for the current?
This is to keep with Health Partners. Further discussion? Average, because I'm not, oops. Looking at 927 roughly an employee. It doesn't work out that way in actuality because of age differences. Whereas if we went to Medica and if we went to the first choice there, whatnot, it would be 750. The other one would be, the cheapest one in Medica would be that. Yeah, I can just tell you that, we'll change yearly depending on what is the, benefit package is the same, whatever, and whichever one is getting the cheaper. Cost us anything to do that. Motion is second to keep it as health partners, at this point. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of keeping health partners, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All righty. Discuss, approve, disapprove annexing north portion of 136th Street. Jeff Holman.
When did we throw this on?
I've been looking forward to this.
Did we talk about it in June?
Maybe May.
Yeah, we signed the agreement with, Princeton Township, whatever, over the maintenance of it. Or the responsibility of it.
You, Mr. Mayor, should I?
Please.
Is it okay? Yeah. So when that first discussion, Joan put this on the agenda for discussion, I believe, at the last meeting. In the meantime, the chairman of the township contacted me about the shared road agreement. He had a couple questions, didn't feel comfortable going to his attorney for whatever reason. I answered his questions, and I told him that if he looked on the agenda, he might see annexation of this, and I wanted him to know that this was just a discussion item, that we wouldn't do anything without discussing them. And then he goes, well, you're a city now. I said, yeah, but we're not changing our stripes, and that's why I'm bringing it up to you. He actually said that he felt that that would be beneficial for Princeton Township to have that small portion of the road annexed into the city of Baldwin. And he thought his board would be 100% in favor of that. And that if that was the case, he'd be looking to the city to prepare the appropriate annexation document. And it would be with the understanding, he said, that we'd only be annexing the road right of way and not the adjacent. And I said, well, if this is something that the city council wishes to explore, then we could put the paperwork together. We'd need a legal description of that road, and that we could come and approach him. And if it was an immediate annexation, we probably wouldn't have to do any sort of joint hearing. If we had the underlying property owners that would agree, I think that would even be better. That is the conversation that I had.
And then on that note, I would make a motion to approve having the city attorney prepare documents and get the descriptions only for the road right of way, and only go forward with this if the Princeton Township is makes a motion to approve, that they have some kind of that or a very simple resolution or something supporting it back at us.
May I ask, you change your motion, is that instruct the city attorney to contact, I think it was the chairman that I spoke to, contact the chairman of Princeton Township, and to discuss this with him to see if this is something that he believes his board is willing to support.
I would amend my motion to have the attorney just start with the outreach, but this motion is getting this going.
I'll second that.
If they are okay with it, it's nothing to do the paperwork. And then you're at your next, whatever your next meeting would be, you'd approve it at the Princeton Township's, they'd approve it, and we would get it filed with the state.
And I think this helps us with funding, now this road connects from county road to county road in the city. So if, down the road when we reconstruct it, we've got total control.
Agreed. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All right, new business. Discuss update on the Elk Lake excavation. Mr. Rush.
Yeah, so this is, the, Elk Lake, the land swap here, basically. So basically the remaining property, they're trying to improve it without the township land of 1.6 acres. They can't really go forward with improving that property. the city council, I can't remember what meeting it was, directed city staff to work with Scott and Teresa on this, who are in the audience. I think they had a meeting to discuss the next steps to take with that, and that's all it was. And we paid $662 for that visit, consultation, whatever you want to call it. There's several issues regarding, of course, we have the DNR. The DNR stated that access to a lake over the city parcel does not resolve the issue with the status of the area proposed to be excavated. They have a plan. And then I know that there's some soil borings that you were doing on that property as well. Yep, so at this point, you know what the DNR, what their wishes are, if they get this land or not. Mr. Jackson and a few of the, there he is, came in and have proposed opposition or to purchase the land as well, as you heard him at his public comment forum. So that's it in a nutshell. So basically, I don't know if the city, the city met with Scott and Teresa, and now that this other, proposal came in, I don't know what, it's just here for discussion, what the city wants to do, if we want to direct the staff, or you want to further improve that, or, just leave it as is at this time. That's why I just brought it up for discussion. So I'll be quiet.
I don't want you to be quiet. What
that's
more,
it first. I'm already-
what more items does the, Mr. Schmidt's group need from the city, if any? Or are we done? Are they at the end of the cycle?
Well, I think we gave them staff gave you what, Bob, you met
I was part of it. I had
Dan.
with Dan, I had a very poor connection. It was a Zoom meeting. It didn't work out real well on my end. Basically, if this was something that was gonna be moving forward, there was more steps. We'd have to do a bunch of legal work to give that effect. It's not hard, it's just stuff that we normally have to do an exchange and to get it all recorded. From my point of view, that's not a hard part of it, but I believe there was also
Additional
DNR.
questions.
Yeah, DNR approval and stuff that needed to be done. And that, I did not quite catch where that was at. From a land swap type, and that was my understanding, was like a land swap. And I could effect that if I had the legal descriptions and the property owners and I could prepare the documents.
So I guess to answer your question, Scott, one, do we want to continue with the city paying additional staffing for Mr. Lick and Mr. Rupee? Second of all, do we want to sell that parcel, because without that, they can't do nothing, or just leave it as is, as we also got other individuals that want to buy it? So that's basically.
But is the DNR approval contingent on the sale happening prior to DNR approval, or is it? That's my question.
Scott, you want to? Or Mr. Mayor, if you,
Well, I think at this point in time.
it's not my meeting, so.
Yeah, no, what I would like to do, so it would appear to me that this project is very fluid at the moment. In other words, I'm gonna call it stagnant at this point in time because the DNR says no. But
It'd be nice if you'd actually
you have ambitions of it moving forward, right? And so, because now we've got, I think what we need to do is we need to have some kind of a plan, if there can be one had. Have some kind of an idea of how deep we're gonna go into taxpayer funding for our attorneys and for Mr. Lick, for all of that on this particular project, because it's not fair to the rest of us, you know what I mean, to continue to do
That's
that.
what we had talked about.
Correct, well, and so, and at that time, it was a preliminary, let's find out what this is, what this is gonna entail. And I think we found out what it's gonna entail, and that is gonna be, the DNR is gonna have to be smoothed over way more than what they're capable of listening to at this point in time,
Right.
in order for that to happen. So I think, I guess and I agree with Tom, I believe that at this point in time, unless it's brought in front of us for a specific issue, I think we're gonna have to say that, complete and carte blanche access to city staff at this point, whatever, you know what I mean, is gonna have to be curtailed, or X amount, dollar amount put to it, this is as far as we're gonna go, because otherwise this could go on forever.
Right, and we don't mind paying for our portion of it. Originally, we had talked to us about, Councilman, this is getting an easement rather than purchasing a portion of that property. Per the DNR, the understanding that I have from it was is they want us to have riparian property. Otherwise, there's no point, and that's what their whole deal was.
But in order to have riparian property, are they looking at that in fee? Because an easement wouldn't give you that.
Well, that's the issue is.
And that's what I think that's what we're looking for from the city point of view, and I think you need that as well, is what exactly do we need to accomplish from the DNR's perspective in order to give effect to what you're proposing? And then, once we know what the DNR is looking at, then Dan and I could look at it and say, this is what we need to do. Here's the steps, 1, 2, 3, and I could give the paperwork together. It's not hard paperwork, it's just, but I just don't know exactly what I need to do. Yeah.
We were supposed to get an authorization letter from them 2.5 weeks ago. And I'm almost at the point where I'm gonna start, file a missing persons report on James Bedell.
I've done.
Yeah. I haven't heard from him, I haven't heard back from him in 2.5 weeks, so.
I have information.
Well, I mean, then suffice it to say then, until we have those answers, until you have those answers from them, there's not a whole lot more.
And he's given us some direction,
We
and
can
that's
do.
why I asked about the test hole first. We're looking for what hard bottom is. It's at 4.5 feet. Right now, we're looking at if we have to excavate the layers between 12 and 16 yards. So that's the next step, but part of it was is that, we need to have the access to the lake. Otherwise, he said it's no point. And it's either we get a fee simple, or if it's an easement, but I don't know. We're not asking for the whole parcel.
So what we would need from the city perspective is what does the DNR want in order to give effect to what you're proposing? And then, once we know that, then it's a question from Dan from a land use point of view. I mean, I could look at it too, but Dan knows them off the back of his head. And then put that together. Is that, does we have to do some sort of administrative lot split to sever it off, to transfer? What do we have to do to give a legal effect to it? And then I execute the necessary documents and we go through the approval process.
So, until we have that answer,
Giving you an update on it and until we hear from
excellent.
And we don't have a problem with taking some of the expenses on, that's not a problem. I've been in this project how many years?
Okay, excellent. Anything else on that, Mr. Rush?
No, just want to discuss it.
Okay, on the Teddy program here, this is with the State Transportation Economic Development. We found some new questions that we have about this, so I'd like to table this until the
So moved, August 4th?
August, no, let's do it the second meeting in August.
Oh, the 18th? 18th.
I think it is. I think you're, oops.
Make a motion to table to August 18th.
Would be the 18th, yes. Motion to table to the 18th. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Letter C, discuss, approve, disapprove, sending a letter to the residents on 100th Street, 297.
Yeah, so this one I did send out, but I know you did, there was some verbiage in there that you wanted to tweak.
Oh, so this got sent?
Nope, it was sent, internally, I'm sorry. That we want,
fixed.
some of the verbiage get fixed because, I know there was looking at, trees from Sherburne County for reimbursement there. And then I had my opinion was I wanted to move forward with it. Regardless, they're getting a free road, I wasn't gonna support tree reimbursement. And then if the city council, what direction they wanted to go, if we didn't have a deadline, because we only got 21 out of 72 easements. So, and then that comes in the brush clearing that we had to table, and this project ain't gonna get done the next year. How much I'm guessing how much time, and we've already soaked $210,000 into this project in engineering fees.
What I read from Sherburne County, they have a definitive price point for, reimbursement on those things. No, good. Joe?
I had a resident come in yesterday, or actually last week, I'm sorry, Wayne Olson, and he just stated, he goes, I asked him if he, signed his easement, and he said he has not, because there was supposed to be a holding tank on his property, but he would rather have a pipe under the road, whatever. But it seems like people have a reason, but they don't have a way. I think it'd be nice, even if we wrote a letter to say, please contact us to discuss your easement, so we can get answers as far as yes or no.
This is better. Is this the new proposed one?
No, that's not.
So I just brought up, I mean, if you guys wanna look at it before it's sent, I mean, I don't think another 2 week, August 4th is gonna make much.
So the real question is, Bob, you guys are trying to work with them and you're getting nowhere.
Correct.
And so all we're trying to do is reach out to them and say, hey, where
Well,
are we?
and that's gonna be where this is gonna be at. Is it going and knocking on doors? Is it?
Jeff has volunteered to go and knock on doors.
Yeah.
'cause
It's his neighborhood.
Because the last we talked about this, I think the direction was for Joan to start making phone calls to everyone, and we provided her with the
You had 4
list.
phone
and-
numbers.
What?
You only had a couple phone numbers.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
get that. I mean, we don't have that information. All I can tell you is here's their address, PID number, but how do you, and when, nobody has phone books anymore.
Just like Jay said, there is no.
And on top of this, this is how I feel, I've said it enough. They're getting a free road, I don't think we should reimburse them for trees, and if they don't wanna move on, we have already invested $210,000 from this project in engineering fees, that's not counting 2012, so I think going forward, if we choose road projects, I think this is just my brainstorming, have a meeting with these residents, send out a letter, hey, we're gonna redo 116th Street or whatever it is, 136. This is what it involves, and see how the feedback is before we invest any more money into going with engineering fees and staff.
Answer me, so the county already reimburses for that. So the county reimburses, so we got residents that, because they're on a county road, they get reimbursed. But because they're on a city road, they won't, those residents don't. They're just not you're not gonna get your easements. I mean, that's just they're gonna say, well, I want, my neighbor around the corner, he got money for his trees. And again, we're gonna run up against this at every road we go into. So we're just gonna delay these roads.
Yeah,
I understand you don't wanna pay for it, but the county's
Get a
already
free
paying
road.
on their roads, so.
I'll remind from a previous conversation at this table, was that if we had to go down the road of condemning, Bob had said, we will be paying for trees in that process,
You will.
plus all the expense of legal to set that up. to get
Well,
to
you'll
that
be
point.
paying for trees, you'll be paying for relocating fencing, you'll be paying for all of that stuff. Everything has a value.
I'm just one guy, that's my opinion.
Well, but I'm just, we're waiting, you're gonna refuse to pay for a few trees and cause the condemnation process, which is gonna cost us way more than the few trees.
No, we just move on.
But eventually, we have to fix that road.
Well, if they don't want to sign for it. I mean, in my
So let's turn it back to gravel.
my 16 years of being on the city council, we never reimbursed for trees.
We didn't take out trees at that level.
Yeah.
So,
What we did was lower the elevation of the road to maintain that slope and snuck the road in.
I just don't wanna waste money that way.
We have moved fences and altered those kind of things as.
In fact, if you watch at McDonald's, you see they lowered the elevation at the intersection. Why? Because of that pothole there on the corner, they're just trying to maintain slope that they got. You see the new part goes down like this, the whole intersection's gonna be lower.
That's a county project. We got a guy that can talk to us all.
I'm just one board member, that's my opinion.
Well, my opinion is I think that the board, or the council, excuse me, needs to just decide that how we're gonna go forward. And you can vote in your conscience on what you think, but we need to actually make a decision. So one decision would be, are we willing to compensate for trees and also help with the fence issues?
And so, to that extent, there was a thought of trying to call Sherburne County. I think you.
Joan got the information.
Got the information.
Those are the numbers that I saw on the back of that there?
There was some information that they said for different pricing. of
Joan
trees.
forwarded us a document that had a breakdown of some example agreements they made. They had small, medium, and large trees. They had cost for the tree. They had cost for labor.
So, then, did Sam get that?
I've not seen.
And I haven't seen any of
Sam, what do other municipalities do? I'm just curious. Do they pay for the trees or they just?
Typically, we don't in our roadway jobs call to plant trees that I've seen personally, but every job's unique, so
Well,
And I'll echo that. Most of the time you don't pay, but most of the time you're taking one or two trees down. And usually we work with the property owner to identify if some tree has really some sort of sentimental value or something. We try to work it out with the engineers. I've done that with Shane and Andrew Visted, another partner of yours, where we try to work it out to avoid this. But we're gonna be doing a lot of trees, and I don't know of a way to avoid it. And if the county is doing a project similar to this, and they are paying, and people know about that, it's gonna make it very difficult for us to sell people. I understand they're getting a new road, and I know we're not assessing, but part of that, people won't voluntarily agree to give the assessment. If I have to go in and do eminent domain, you need to understand, we will be paying for trees and stuff.
I understand that portion. I'm just saying, move on. There's also letters going in people's mailboxes, getting residents fired up, wrong information. We're taking 15 feet of your roadway. No, we're only taking 7. There's a lot of information. And we spent 2012, I don't even know how much money we spent with John Bogart Peterson on this. Now we're here at 13. I ran against Chuck Nagel on this. And here we are in 2025, and we spent $210,000. And we only got less than 20% of the signatures.
Well, I believe a lot of people on this list have trees, have fences, have questions, and they're not comfortable at this point, and they need to have outreach. And we need to decide what we're doing and indicate it, because until they know where we're going with it, or we know where we're going with it, we have no answers for them.
Chairman Schumacher, do you have any knowledge behind the paying for trees on road projects?
Not enough to give to weigh the decision that you guys have. Multiple faceted funding. Level to make it a state that all of that. Somewhere it's clipped inside there.
Oh, and when they did 38, they paid me for trees.
They pay for
So,
people's trees.
I'm a hypocrite if I go, I got paid. So it was based on how it affected damages to the property. So these needed to be trees that, change the character of the curb appeal. So if it was a big patch of woods and you're just thinning the edge, that's one thing. But if it's you know, a nice row of trees that they planted and they're giving them a screen from the road in privacy, and now their front of their house is completely exposed, then there would be an argument about damages to the value of the curb appeal.
There's two ways to, I've had a trial on trees, okay? And it was a strip take, you know, and then what's the value? And there's two ways to value trees. One is the value of your land in the before and the value of your land after the trees are gone. And that would probably go to your whole line of natural growth trees. Then the other way to do it is if the judge or the land commissioner, whoever is, jury is looking at it, they look at it, if that's a ornamental, it was part of a landscaping plan, or something, that has different value. And those are the two ways that court system, they look at that, and you don't know which one they're going to apply. You know, usually when I was doing this, I had about 8 people suing on this, and on 7 of them, it was the before property and after, which, you know, was a lower amount. But then on one of them, for whatever reason, the judge decided, it was a bench trial, he decided the value was going to be what a nursery for that tree in the Twin Cities was gonna give. All the rest of them, on the same street, he went this route, or on one, he went a different route, because they must have convinced him otherwise.
Mr. Mayor? That is, real quick, so it sounds like the majority, you, at least 3 of you are favored for trees, you know?
Well, at least discussing it with the property
Yeah,
owner, right?
but-
I'm not saying I wanna buy the trees, I prefer not to, but I don't wanna
But here,
hold the project up.
here's my question. If you decide to go that route, how much money is it gonna be? $20,000-$30,000? And who's gonna determine the pricing of the trees to make that distinction? Like, okay, Mr. Swanson's got 5
So-
oak trees, they're worth boom, 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 or whatever.
If you read the county's thing, they have a plan on how they pay for, if you read that.
So then would that be Sam, or would it be Mr. Rupee
No,
that's gonna?
it's a dollar amount for the tree on the county's plan.
So,
That's why I asked if Sam had gotten that list.
We'll have them look at it, but
So what we need to know is, we need to know.
before we send the letter out, if we're gonna go that.
We need to know the money, how much is it gonna cost us? So if we used county numbers, I guess the question to you is, you know, if we use the county numbers, and Joan will forward it on the website, and use those numbers for, take a look at the plan and tell us, you know, what are we talking here? I mean, is it $5,000, $10,000, $1 million, whatever that is? And the question I have for you is, this trial that you did, that you were just talking about, before the project commenced or after the project was finished?
It was actually a cartway, and it was a taking of property for the cartway, but in order to put the cartway in, you had to remove all these trees. And so it was within the 33-foot wide road right-of-way.
So this trial happened before the project was.
The project was not started. This was the taking portion of it, which is exactly where we would be here. It's, whether you call it for a cartway or for a road, they're both for road right-of-way. And that judge said that's 100% take. You can't use it for anything else other than that. So anything within that road right-of-way, including these trees, have to be removed.
my feeling is if they got so few easements done, there's gonna be 1 or 2 that aren't gonna sign an easement no matter what.
True.
And we're gonna be in court on them no matter what. I just don't wanna have, 40 separate trials.
Well, and the question that, the discussion that we have had internally at my office with my partner and I, and to a little bit with Sam and with Shane Nelson, is at what point in time do we put this on the back burner and go and look at one of these other projects? Because if you're gonna move and go to another project, Sam is gonna need time to put plans and specs together in order to get the thing out for bid, to get a good bid back. I mean, so the question is, if you're not gonna do this project this year, and I don't think you are, because it would take us now time to, even if you gave me the instructions today, go after all of them. It takes time to put all that paperwork together, get it drafted, get it served, get it filed, and then just to start the court process. The other thing would be, are you tabling this now and moving on to a different project.
Well, and I am under no,
to see that happen. I would hate to see that happen.
yeah, I'm under no illusions of getting this project going this year. It's just, yeah,
I
it's
got a
not gonna
question.
happen.
I got a question for Sam.
I think I have two.
Hey, you can have, oh, sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Double the reading, yes.
I have a question for Sam. What would it take to do a soft estimate based off of this price list? How much effort would it take for you to just hone in on the properties that are pretty obvious they're gonna have some trees that are gonna affect their, you know, the frontage of their place? It's because the question I think that Scott's asking is, are we talking 50 grand, are we talking 200 grand, or more? And if we hear the or more, then we may be like, well, we gotta stop and think about this. But if it becomes down to 50 to 100 grand, we also have to think that this is a one-time thing we'll never have to come back to, because we're gonna have the right of way, we're gonna have this thing in, and it's gonna be permanent.
And we'll be able to use MSA dollars to fund.
And to fund it and to pay the bond back off of the promise.
That's what I mean.
And so our investment may be, you know, putting 100,000 or 150,000 into getting the right of way acquired that we need, be it the trees and the fences taken care of, and getting the signatures to get this thing done. You look at it in a long-term picture, is that a significant investment? I think it's something that we would have to go through and go forward. But if it turns out that this is gonna cost $500,000, then yeah, well, that's kind of a big deterrent at this time.
I just think it gets out that city's paying for trees. I understand the county does that, but we haven't, and if we do, then everybody's gonna want this in projects going forward, and then
It's true.
what happens if what if 5 residents don't sign? We can't move forward with this project, correct?
Well, we could do what they call quick take. We could go into court and ask the judge saying, we have this project, we need you to move fast. While we negotiate or litigate the actual value, judge, transfer the easements that we need to us. And a judge has the authority and power to do that. They call that a quick take, in order to not do what you're saying, where somebody's gonna drag their feet and try to deliberately make sure the project never goes forward. But that, again, is going into court if we have to. And it's not just, you know, if we have to go into court, there's the value of the land, the value of the trees, the value of moving the fence, you know, and anything else that people come up with, and their lawyers when they get that. And then there is the potential for, if eminent domain, for attorney's fees, appraisal costs and things, you know, to all be awarded. So it's not something you do lightly. And most towns will not. If they get the impression that you're going to fight them, they'll just turn it back to gravel. That's what most of the towns that, you know, we normally deal with, this is public service, but again, this is something that you as a city now have to wrestle with. And these are your options with this. But you're right, people do look to see what you did on other projects, and
But Tom, a majority of our roads that have been built in the last 25 to 30 years, we have the right of way. And we have the ability to keep them clear legally without buying anything. It's these old section line collector roads. And once we, like, you know, we've already redone 112th, we've already done 283rd, we've already done part of 305th. 136, a portion of it. You know, and we looked at the other side of Sandy Lake, Hunter Street, and we ran into the same things with the parcels being, we have something, we don't have something, and then that one, the other caveat was that little stream there that all suddenly became a
Well, and when we
issue.
think about it, yes, and when we think about it too, so 4 million is a project estimate at this point for those 2 roads. If we had no road easement issues, if we had none of this, if this was all redone and it's 20 years in the future, there's future into these numbers, I understand this. But comparison cost, if this was just a reclaim and overlay, it's not gonna be $4 million anymore, it's gonna be a much smaller percentage of that.
That's one thing I kind of actually wanted to add when Tom brought up the road or the new item you brought up to the roads report, future projects or maintenance items. Once you have that easement established, a reclaim and pave is a very simple job, once you have that easement established. So yes, once that gets put in place, doing projects like that.
So one day when we go by your house and do a mill and whatever, reclaim and pave or whatever, we don't have to talk about right of ways. Yours is already all good to go. We could
And the
have.
micro surfacing.
We're not gonna pay for any of your trees that you plant right away.
Don't worry, I got it all. I planted over 1,000, so you can have some.
So, and just for a recap on this, this is from Mr. Rodell. Answered this email back. As discussed, if the trees are within our 33-foot prescriptive easement, we do not compensate. They are a grouping of trees that are volunteer, where they are seedlings from other trees or not planted by the homeowner. The compensation is the value of the land and no addition for the trees.
But that's, he's acquiring land in that situation there.
Yes.
We're
So they
trying not
would-
to do that.
So they would have to show that they actually planted the trees.
Or that they were out of the 33-foot road at the.
Out of the 33-foot road, and they actually planted
The
them.
caveat to this is we don't have a defined prescriptive road right away. Well, we do now.
Well, and he's talking about a county project,
Yes.
and the county probably had already had
Had
the
66.
easement already acquired, where we are acquiring easement. So again, it's not exactly apples to apples. You have to be a little bit flexible with the county's policy.
Basically, this says if it's scrubs, they're gonna clean.
Well, and we need to define our
Well,
own,
and the
and
qu-
find something that the homeowners will sign off
And
on.
the question is, what is a scrub? I mean, typically a tree is anything when you measure, under statute, measure 2 feet up off the ground, 6 inches in, I think it's 6 inches in diameter. That is an actual tree. Anything below that, that doesn't meet that diameter at measured 2 feet from the ground is considered scrub. You know, and that has, again, that's brush. That's, you normally, you could clear that in your road right of way without any notice requirements. But once it hits that tree, even when you were a town, you had to follow 160.22, we can give notice, opportunity to be heard, public hearings, all this stuff. So trees are a big deal,
Even if it was in our right of way?
even if it was in your road right away.
Once
Usually
it gets
that's,
6 inch.
yeah, the only exception was if it was a platted road, and there was some differences there. But, and again, most of this is, I don't know, this is just one of those things. I agree, it'd probably be a good idea to know, what are you talking about here?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, is it more on 297, so, because that road's bad, Dennis Jones is gonna go. Because he keeps,
Start that back.
no, but the pothole, so, I mean, if we could do 297th, if the majority of them do there, or 100, whatever, just throwing.
Well, I think we find out the cost, and that way we have an
So
idea.
Sam, is that something you can do? Take the county's numbers that we're looking at there, because that's a starting point. Give an overview of what, yeah. And then also take a look and tell us really. We gotta stretch a little here, or something that would have to happen. Which ones really have to go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which ones could, marginal maybe, or could stay?
Yeah, actually, could you take this list and make or give us an earmark on, or put in the comment or something such as, definitely has frontage trees that would need to be,
They gotta go.
Gotta go.
And marginal, we could make it,
Are you saying we could save them because the design doesn't impact them? Or I guess,
if there's any reason the tree could stay there,
other than,
if the tree has to go, it's gotta go. But if there's any way that we could trim it, if there's any way that we could, leave it
Even-
there, it's really not gonna be a big deal.
even if it's gonna be planted in the new right of way? Or
Or
even if it still
left
stands?
growing.
And then the question in that point of view is that tree that might now be an obstruction, quote, in the right of way, is it really an obstruction?
Yeah.
Because you have the traveled portion of the road, you have your clear lines. Is this tree that might technically be in the road right of way?
is part of the
Is
back
it,
slope.
is it really something that could cause an accident?
Yeah, I know there are trees that we are calling to remove because we were given the guidance that anything within that 80 feet had to go. So we can definitely, yes, look at the trees from a design standpoint. If we don't have to take it for the grading, then yeah, we can call those.
Yeah,
out.
let's do that.
Yeah.
But that would be then also changing, you know, I believe the city's precedence beforehand was everything needs to go on that 80 feet. So if we do go that
You could
road-
keep it 66, just as is, and get the MSA money, but that's gonna be a whole, like, big change order
Yeah,
for engiring.
that'd be a
plans, so
whole-
then you're gonna
that'd be a
throw-
big re-
This,
Well,
you guys know
Then we
that,
have
you
a-
can
then we
keep
have
it
a slope,
66.
we have a slope
Yeah.
issue then,
But
so
you can
let's,
keep it
let's not,
66.
let's just see what one, like the mayor said,
Soft,
what
yeah.
ones we don't have to take.
With a soft estimate.
Yes.
Yes, I think I understand what.
How much is soft estimate?
Now, Bob, you're not doing your job, remember? You said in the beginning of this meeting how he got us through the last meeting so fast.
I know,
But I'm
Well,
telling you.
I know. Him and his road issues, I tell you.
I tell you, Bob. Bob, in 1 year, somebody will take this over.
Do we want to, let's, Sam, how long do you think it would take you to come up with a quasi guesstimate? I mean, could you have that by the August meeting?
The meeting I'm at,
Yeah,
A month from now?
yeah, a month from now.
I think so, yes.
You know what I mean? So, okay, with that in mind, then let's also think about this letter. And the one thing that I did have a problem with is we received information from our city attorney. That rubbed me the wrong way again when I read it the second time. You know what I mean? Because we don't, no offense, Bob. We don't care what he says, whatever. At this point in time, we'd like to move forward with our road. Right? So basically, we've noticed your easement paperwork is not been signed. You know what I mean? I don't want to throw the city attorney out. Their ears are up already. Now the hair on the back of their neck is on.
Could I ask, would it be appropriate for you to email me that draft and let me work with Jay and Joan on that?
So moved. Is there a second?
I'd second and I'd add this. Make sure you make a statement in there to give them the opportunity to give us the reason, the why, the feedback of, you know, is there something concerning about it that you'd like us to
Or
take a
let
look
us
at?
Do that, but yes, I agree totally.
Would be clear, you know, like, we wanna know what's, if there's something
There's something bothering.
bothering
I don't know
you,
what it is.
let us
So is the
know.
motion for the letter or for the soft cost?
Well, for the letter.
This is the letter.
This is the letter.
I just do want to add before we wrap up, if, just whoever the contact of this sent over to the city, if I could get that contact, it'd be nice to,
I did email.
okay, sounds good.
Dave Rodell.
Just because they describe it as small, medium, large, the trees, I'd like to actually get a diameter
Yes.
value, so
Totally agree.
not,
So there's
not
a
leave it up to interpretation.
motion to send the letter to him. Sorry, we're gonna take on you as well. Is that a second, Tom? Somebody second?
I will second to get the letter out.
I thought you made the motion and I seconded it.
Good.
And I made a friendly just saying, please,
Yes, Ed.
make
Okay, we have a motion.
a
and second.
statement
Any
that
further
compels
discussion?
them to reach out to us about issues they're having with it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I just want to make sure, so I'm clear.
Hang on, we've gotta go back one more.
No, I need to be clear on this letter part of it before you go move on to the next. So I'm gonna work with Jay and Joan to put together a letter that Jay and Joan and I all, and Sam, it would be included, all find acceptable. And then do I bring that back to you, or do I mail that letter out?
No, we'll have Joan Whalen.
Have Joan nail it.
But we don't charge you for it.
Okay, you can.
Okay, then you can mail it out.
We charge you for the postage, but we don't charge you for our time. So we can, Kathy in my office can.
Recorded here, what'd you just say?
We don't
Yeah.
charge.
No charge for time?
We don't charge for Kathy's time on that, but we do charge you for postage. So that is something that, because think about it, our,
Cost us anyway, right?
yeah, the postage costs the same no matter what.
Who is the letter, when they get the letter, is it gonna show your office? that's
No,
coming from?
we've learned that one.
Okay, thank you.
So, no.
I just wanted to clarify that
I
one.
think, yeah, so we typically, Kathy changes the envelope to have a return for Baldwin, City of, City of Baldwin with your address. And then we usually will get your letterhead from Joan, and and then we get it and we just make copies of it, and then she stuffs it and mails it.
Okay, can I make a motion authorizing Sam to do this soft cost deal from the council?
Yes, you may. Is there a second?
Don't look at me, I'm opposed.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion?
Favor the letter, but not the.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we've killed that enough. Discuss, approve, disapprove legal counsel at future city council meetings. That's me. Put this on here. We need to, at least revisit this. I think it's been great having Bob here. I think tonight, the movement we've been able to make in our meetings, whatnot, when we had a legal opinion sitting here, I think has been a good thing. Our discussion, and motion was for 6 months, after becoming the city, starting in January. So we are already in month number
I'll make a
7.
motion to extend it through, the end of the year, coming to both meetings, because we've been really utilizing him still heavily,
Is there a second?
and then review it at that time.
I'll second.
A second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign?
Aye. Sorry, Bob. One time. like Cool
Motion
Hand
carries.
licked.
All
Sorry?
right.
One time like Cool Hand licked, sorry.
Okay, schedule budget meeting.
August 28th.
That's pretty far out, ain't it?
Is this the capital meeting, this one?
Yes.
The capital budget meeting?
This would be a road project, this would be equipment.
Yeah.
Al can run with it.
Tuesday the 12th?
Tuesday the 12th. Tuesday the 12th.
My hamburger day.
Hmm?
My hamburger day.
What day?
Hamburger.
That had
Bring a
anything to
hamburger
do with
in,
the
get
budget meeting.
yourself a Happy Meal.
So are we golden? Is that a motion? Tuesday
I'll make a
the
motion for Tuesday the 12th.
12th?
And 7 PM.
Popeye. Jeff made the motion.
Yeah.
Who seconded?
I think the mayor did, by saying that it works for him.
It does work for me, but
I'll second it.
he seconded.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
Well, he was saying it was hamburger night, so I didn't expect a second out of you.
That's training though.
It's hamburger night means, yes, I second.
No,
that
it's not
motion.
training, it's.
Business meeting.
It's a business meeting, so that,
Oh.
that's a deal.
Yeah, thank you for reminding
What
me.
time is that meeting at?
It's
7.
at 7.
So is planning, can we do it the 13th or is that planning? Wednesday?
We're so happy.
Sorry.
Man.
Well, no, because it's usually, yeah, it's second.
How about the 5th?
I will be out of town. I will not be back. I'll be gone. I'd rather do the 12th than try and be in and out.
No, the planning commission will be the 20 and the 27th.
So the 13th would work?
13th would work.
Been different.
That's a Wednesday.
All right, so we're gonna
Change it to the 13th.
friendly.
13th.
The 13th.
Okay,
Mr. Rush, would you do that?
yes.
Okay.
Thanks for the reminder.
I don't know who's cooking that night though.
Okay, all of those in, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. And before we do announcements, since we have Commissioner Schumacher here, if you would. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and honorable,
Well done, our state representative, he couldn't stay here.
and honorable city council. Thank you for having me. I came to discuss a couple items that are, festering. So one would be the tobacco ordinance for the county. I have advocated to the maximum amount, business friendly, over trying to legislate health and human services. The settlement from the tobacco the tobacco settlement has pushed Health and Human Services to weigh heavily on the Health and Human Services portion of the tobacco and changing the ordinance for that. So the option for you guys, as Ben said, for the city of Zimmerman, even tonight when I was at their meeting, was for you to, if you don't like it, to prepare to do your own tobacco ordinance and to manage your own tobacco, as an example. Because the county is going to move forward using the Health and Human Services approach to the tobacco ordinance. So there's no way I can advocate any differently, other than we've in our third revision of a workshop, and that's the best I've been able to do for that. Number two would have been, I don't think that was, unless you guys had questions. County Road 28, yes, that has been an endeavor of sorts. As you can see, the hospital, rerouting the hospital traffic through the city of Baldwin to come through, to get to the hospital and use the school district as our partners, to be able to use that road access to cut through for EMS. I think that was it. I still advocate heavily that District 5 and Sherburne County are the best drivers in the entire county. Regardless of what you've seen on the internet over the weekend that happened in Zimmerman in the new roundabout, we still are the best drivers based on our ability to merge in traffic down on Highway 169 to get through Elk River. And so I'll defend that tomorrow, because I know that's how we brought up at the county board meeting. If you didn't see what happened, I can tell you.
I didn't see what happened. Tell us.
They blew right through the barriers, all the barriers. They drove right into the roundabout with no tar and tore out the bottom end of the car.
Zimmerman.
Yeah. County Road 45 and County Road 4.
But that road's not even open yet.
We know. And that's why they're gonna bring it up tomorrow to me at the board.
Holy cow, okay.
Drove right in.
Did it damage the roundabout?
There's nothing, there's only concrete curbing.
Concrete curbing there?
Yeah, no asphalt.
Might have to have them tear out.
Yep. And
Was there a arrest for the shooting, correct?
oh, nope, so, yes, we want to also commend the county staff and the county sheriff's department for their fast action in the incident that happened on Saturday. There is a suspect in custody for that, and the glass has been replaced. So if you or a constituent does go back down to Sherburne County, the scar is still there, but it looks miraculous for what was able to put back together with all the glass over the weekend. But there was the apprehension of the alleged suspect wasn't done in the parking lot because they weren't going anywhere, if you know what I mean. They kind of just did it and sat down. Yeah, and if there's anything else, yeah, just please let me know.
How about Mr. Lucas?
Did you guys send in the request? Did we send in the request?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I'll follow up with him tomorrow. Yep, we have our budget meeting tomorrow. We start the county budget and the county budget shifts. I have advocated to the maximum amount to show the governor of our state what a peaceful protest will look like between the 87 counties in Health and Human Services. If he wants us to do Health and Human Services, I have advocated to tell you that we are the best in 87 counties in Health and Human Services because of the director, Amanda Larson, and her ability to get all grants. That's not the idea behind Health and Human Services. When it was initiated, Health and Human Services was supposed to be divided by 87 counties. There are counties that get paid a little bit more and ones that get paid a little bit less. Well, the problem is that we do it so well here that it's an unfair advantage. And so we shouldn't have to bear the expense. If the governor wants us to do that role in the state legislatures, including our state representative, they need to pay for it. When I signed up for this job and those that have voted for me and elected me to do a difficult and hard job, I agreed to that, but I also did not agree to pay for it at my cost on my back to do that job in Health and Human Services. And so tomorrow there'll be heavy conversation that comes back and says, nope, I think that there will be partners in the 87 counties who are gonna raise their hand and say, no, Mr. Governor, if you want us to do the job, you do it. Otherwise, option two, we will lease you the space and the Health and Human Service Department, they should be paid underneath the state payroll and have the cost divided equally across 87 counties, because that is the fair way of how this was set up. How it's done now is not fair to those that don't have enough money or resources to be able to get the grants. I will say that Amanda Larson, if you ever meet her or go through that, when she applies for a grant to get money from the state, it's not if she's gonna be approved, she will be approved. It's when she goes for grant requests, she's really good at her job. You have a director that's in a different county, like our neighboring county, maybe to Mille Lacs or Niceni County, their director may or may not apply for these, and then those positions don't get held. And then they get held down here in Sherburne County, and they are funded from the state, so they're not tax levy dollars, they are flow-through dollars. And that's why when you look at the county budget, it's 62 million in tax revenue collected, but when you look at our overall, it's $120 million. Because there's money that comes, it's like a pay-through. So, gotta get the county board to agree with me, but that's how it's meant to be, and that's not what's happening right now. Any other questions for me?
I did read somewhere, emergency sirens.
Yeah, so the emergency.
Civil defense sirens.
Yep.
Is that something the county is?
Yes, yes, they are. Yes, we are. We are moving that over. The county sirens, which actually was initiated back with Sherco. And so with Sherco, what they have done is they have eliminated that. And so we are not participating because the towers are what we would call fully depreciated assets. And they have all expenses that we don't have the equipment to fix. So our public works staff doesn't have the ability, and so everything has to be subcontracted to change that. And with you guys, as an example, moving forward to the tech cell process, that's going to be the new way. Some communities, as in Zimmerman, they had just opted to pay on their own to run their siren the way that they were doing it before. County level are moving away from that.
Well, for Baldwin,
To maintain it?
yes.
That will be up to the unit that you guys have and then what its lifespan's left. But we were trained,
So, and then at the replacement of them, whenever that comes, that would be on us.
yes, yep, and it's a bigger burden for some of the smaller townships across the county, which, I don't know if you were in that meeting, Bob, when we were at the association, nope.
That was Mike, my partner.
Mike was there, and so, yep, that had come up, and we were reconvening that at the association meeting, because there's some, that cost will be really heavily burdened upon the townships throughout, but we were, as a county board, moving away
We're
from
gonna
that.
have to help Blue Hill on that.
Yep. I will say that the other great news for Sherburne County, even though it's not for you guys necessarily, but the city of Becker's post office renewal lease, I'm not sure if you heard about that, but they're not gonna renew the lease on the post office. And so the mail was gonna come from Wright County. Well, the mayor of Becker went and lobbied really hard on behalf of our county to get his post office lease renewed and get a post office put back in the city of Becker, and then also for Sherco. Because if the energy becomes an emergency assistance, I gotta think of the right word. The President of the United States can keep Sherco running because it would be considered a national emergency because of the fact that Canada wants to charge us a surplus or a tariff. And so that we would have the ability to run Sherco and override the state of Minnesota and the state legislature and everything that they have done to close Sherco. Keep you posted.
That's a good thing.
Yes, that would be your fellow mayor from Becker, Mark. It's,
How about all the stinking, solar panel farm going out there on?
oh, yep, so that's a lot of solar panel farm. And I also made sure, I think I sent it to you guys because we did have a discussion regarding that, but there is revenue that the municipality by state statute receives a certain percentage. I'd have to ask your city attorney for the exact numbers, otherwise I'd have to email them to you. But I think it's 20% goes to the municipality and 80% goes to the county, not because we're greedy, but because that's what the state statute says. And so so some of the townships and cities are proponents of it because they get paid. They're getting paid a revenue source, but it does.
Is that for all new
Usage.
solars moving forward, or?
No, just usage, like that one, yep.
That one?
Yeah, you guys should get a usage check for that one.
We should be getting 20% of it,
Yep.
is what you're telling us.
Yeah, I have the email. I can send it to you what it is. I'll pull it up and I'll get you guys a usage check.
Send it over and let's.
We paid you.
Motion to buy tractor out of that farm.
Even though, well, because all of the solar farms are on private property.
It's production tax, so it's off the production of what they produce that we're getting. It's not only the property taxes, we're getting the property taxes at 1.25% as a commercial rating under the solar panels, but you're also getting the production tax in the percentage. And I have yours. I didn't know that you didn't see the check, but I'll follow up on that and I'll get that back to you guys this week, because I'll be there all week for budgeting. But I did see the amount that's written in the spreadsheet. I thought I emailed it, but maybe I didn't, but I will. Yes,
Is it yearly or monthly?
yearly, yep.
Have we ever gotten one? No.
No.
It's on the tax statement, I think, that.
Yeah, it should be, and it might be on the, it's not a lot of money, no.
Get it.
It might be included in the taxes, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a push to change that from 20 to 80, to switch it, reverse it, and didn't go anywhere in the legislature.
Brian doesn't stick around to hear these things.
He didn't know we were gonna talk about that tonight, but yes. And then anything else, on 286th, it's on the agenda tomorrow off Elk Lake, the house with blight on it. We have, it's a court order, for the cleanup. And then the amount of money's on there. I can send it to you, the direct address, but it's a house with blight on 286. That's been an ongoing court case, but the county board will now approve tomorrow the contractor to, follow up the cleanup for the blight on 286th. I didn't even try by, I was gonna drive by, but I didn't.
Well, I doubt it. Excellent.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I would have come to the last meeting, but I texted the mayor and the mayor wasn't here, so I wanted to come when all of you guys were here. Highly debatable. I have to see it on the minutes.
What time is it now?
Obvious kid.
Yeah.
He's gonna get.
What time is it? Eastern time or is it Western?
Commissioner Schumacher, thank you for stopping.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, and anything else, just let me know.
Mr. Lucas.
Mr. Lucas, I'll follow up on Mr. Lucas and the solar tax. Make sure you guys get both of those tomorrow.
That County Road 4 sign,
Oh, nope, I haven't got that done.
that sign past that driveway.
I'm on one other problem I had that I was working on, but it's connecting the cul-de-sac off of County Road. There's a different problem I was working on for that, but yes, I got a different, that commercial lot on the corner of County Road 2 there and connecting that back through. You know who I'm referring to? I was trying to figure out how I could get that worked out so that could be a commercial lot.
For a corner.
The corner, yep. And he had offered the landowner, if need be, to connect it back on to the turning lane. If you stand behind you there. It's similar to what we're doing on 269, right there, yep. 200, nope, down.
Be, right, up to County Road 2.
2, yep, right there, yep.
There was some speculation about that even, as a matter of fact, about a comp plan, and if any area would be commercial, that would be most reasonable for that to be. And so, and we did have some years ago, this cul-de-sac that comes through here.
Yeah.
The landowner actually did come in and see if we were amenable to making it commercial. None of these people wanted anything to do with it. So there was opposition in the entire development, whatever, for that one piece of land. But I said at that meeting, I said, if this was a convenience store of some sort there, whatever, I said, I bet you everyone would walk over and right?
The newspaper.
And they didn't disagree. But at any rate, so this is also a spot too, yes, where the planning commission and the comp plan and the zoning, it makes sense to be commercial in that area. It's all commercial up here anyway. And this, how these actually, is run a welding business or something
Like a plasma table or something.
we know about that, whatever.
Yeah.
But, and then of course, that's the church.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so, and this is on, and that's. So if there is anyway, and if you spend any time sitting here listening, And you hear the traffic going by on 160.
As-
And you see Marv's across the street.
Builder's got his property just south of there too.
Yeah, Betzler's got this piece right here, well, he just put up his shop in it.
And so,
Has someone heard any speculation about the trailer park getting something going on the north side of the road?
They're doing soil borings.
They're out there doing soil borings,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're,
That's the city of Princeton.
they approved something, I saw the deal about an expansion of the
Yeah.
trailer park.
The 55 and older with the curbs and the streetlights and everything.
There you go, Tom, you were looking for a 55-plus home community.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, I appreciate your time. I'll follow up with you on the other emails tomorrow and this week.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schumacher, I appreciate it.
Hey,
Okay,
one side note, we're very upset, how much, local government aid Virginia gets.
yeah.
Sam, you can go if you want. If you want commercial property going out there.
Are you?
We are done. You're more than welcome to stay, but we're done.
Yeah.
So announcements, planning commission meeting is Wednesday, the 23rd, 7 PM. Infrastructure committee meeting is July 24th at 7 PM. I will not be here for the infrastructure meeting.
Okay.
Okay, next city council meeting is Monday, August 4th, 7 PM. Fun Fest is Saturday, August 16th, from 11 AM to 3 PM. Baldwin Fire Department dance is Saturday, August 16th, 2025, starting at 8. And I need a bigger sign, Mr. Case. I need a bigger sign in my yard, whatever, for that, because that tiny little thing that they put there, I got a lot of cars coming by there. I'm telling you what, I told Lance, I'm like, get me a big one. He says he's fixing the banner thing and gonna get it
Yes,
in
Sam.
there. Get it in there. Okay,
Be at the next city council meeting.
Baldwin Fire Department dance is Saturday, August 16th at 8 PM. Any other business?
I do, what,
He beat you to it.
quick question before my any other business, Fun Fest, is that being held at the park this year?
Nope, that's
at
got to
church.
go over to the church.
Okay.
All the-
Any other business?
All the brochures and flyers and everything you put out.
We had previously discussed parking issues with Rough Start at the council level.
Yes.
I did run into Azure Davis in town on Saturday. And I said, we would really like you to have some parking coordination, or not like a parking coordinator, and she was very receptive and said, yeah, that was crazy, and I was running all over that day, and when we had another event and some other things. Apparently, Mr. Turnus, who bought the Finish Line, who's putting the cabinet shop in there, is gonna provide some parking for them. And he's got that back driveway and everything, and so they're actively working on things. I instructed her to contact Joan if there's anything that she thinks that they need from us, whatever. So if they come up with some questions or ideas or whatever that they wanna run by us, I told her all she gotta do is reach out and talk to Joan, the clerk.
And they just put more asphalt in, more parking lot area in and around.
She was saying that too as well, and something about maybe connecting a trail to the back.
And then she had the do not cross tape, whatever, da, 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 da. She left her van out in the middle of the street with a tape tied to the bumper overnight, so. Going home now.
So I stressed that we don't wanna have to put no parking signs up, that you're gonna have to keep people on one side of the street, yada, 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 but we
The
would,
opposite side of the street, so
we'd love to, give her some advice if she needs, or some, we would assist to make these events go smooth, safely for the people involved there and safely for the emergency services to get in and out for other calls.
Thank you. Glad you got it. Mr. Rush, you had something?
Yeah, just real quick, I'm sorry, I forgot to add this. Young Park. So I'll make it real short and sweet. It's been vandalized like 5 times in the past month. Tipped over, the new porta potties, the hand sanitizers, you guys seen the picture. The outlet for the electrical was damaged this weekend. The bench was thrown into the off the boardwalk and destroyed. Somebody jumped on the bench, and they bented all this up, if you guys seen the pictures. So unfortunately, the sheriff is making extra patrols, but they don't have an extra camera. At the park committee last week, we like to get 2 trail cams, solar powered. with, in case right here to protect them. And then we will mount these and hopefully catch the people, because we have no.
Will they be cellular, sending the images somewhere?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So I did, so this is,
That's a motion to approve.
it says 401.45, but is that with tax? Is it gonna be tax? and-
That's with all your accessories, your solar panel, your encasement per unit?
So I
it'd
would
be
say up to
800?
500,
Oh.
Total
yeah,
for 2 cameras and whatever
Yep.
we need, okay?
yeah,
Plus subscription for the cellular.
yeah.
I approve, I'll make a motion to approve up to 600 and also to include having an ongoing subscription for the cellular service for the photos to be sent.
And then where are they gonna get sent to?
Where's that, is that box?
Maybe to a cell phone.
Yeah,
Whose cell phone? Probably either send to your cell phone.
want Rambo come out of retirement?
Absolutely.
Just want you to
Okay.
call the authorities.
Yes.
Does it only send it to one cell phone? Or can it?
Some of those subscriptions.
Can it get sent to the fire chief's cell phone, since the fire chief's got his phone 24/7?
There you go.
Be sent there.
You can get sent to 2 different phones.
I'm just saying, I have that phone 24/7.
Okay.
I honestly think we should have security cameras out
We-
there overall.
We did look into that one, we don't have Wi-Fi, we called a few camera resident, or places, correct me if I'm wrong, Kayla spoke, and they focus more on like, you know, residential and businesses, not so much a park, is my understanding, is what she explained. Park committee, is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
But even with
You
this,
know, the
even
other
with
thing
this.
about this too is, and I, we're all in agreement now. We've had this discussion in the past where unless the sheriff actually put the cameras out there, we didn't want to spy on people. That's why we don't have cameras up yet. But we're beyond this now.
Too late.
We gotta do something.
Costing us money
I just wanted to
every,
have that as part of this conversation.
And I mean, maybe long-term, but I mean, for this in the short term to get this up, and they're doing extra patrols, but he just spent Monday night, or not, today, cleaning this up, and the other, he was planning to do hot patching with the guys, and he had to go.
it's costing us more than those cameras would cost us just in one
Yeah.
day of cleaning up. We need to get some security out there. I know you have the sign.
I know. They know.
It's a non-deterrent.
Correct.
It's
All right,
like a
so we have motion
scarecrow.
and a second. Whose cell phones are we gonna send it to?
Well, you send it to 2. You can have it sent to the chiefs.
Well, then
sure.
it should be you, and then it should be
Yeah.
you. And then if we can get 2 out of it. Zach?
How about Public Works cell phones?
Well,
Clerk's cell phone? Multiple municipal phones.
Do you want to take me out and have the ones that?
You have yours with you all the time then, 24? Yeah, then he should have it too then.
absolutely.
Yeah. Even more so than Tom,
Yeah,
I would
if
say.
you call me, Rambo will come.
You can call him. Not the
So,
last ones.
okay, so if we get 3, then maybe it should go to the clerk as well. That way, poof, it gets to everybody.
More eyes, the better.
I don't believe there's a limit on cell phones that could receive this.
Okay.
I don't know for sure,
Well, I
but
think a representative of the Young family should get in a feed.
There we go. Who's that?
we know.
You live closer.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And those cell phones, we'll see who, okay.
I'll second it.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Does this, like if something's happening out there, like a motion, like a movement or whatever, does that instantaneously notify the cell phone?
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, for example, someone drives up my driveway, goes past my camera, before they turn around, come past the barn, they already went, and I could go and see them.
Okay.
I think it's
So-
similar to your Blink cameras, Scott.
Huh?
I think
Similar?
it's similar to your Blink.
Okay, I've got blank, so that was my question because I have a emergency vehicle. I'm not that far from Youngman Park. If I am at my residence, I can get there fairly quickly. And with the lights that I have lights that I can shine around too, so.
Yeah. I think of 3 of us here are close. Just want to catch them.
Excellent. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Any
Thank
other
you,
business? Absolutely. For the record, it was Tom that did keep us this late.
That was Burkhart.
All right. Well, yeah, I am too.
I don't carry my cell phone.
That went shorter than I thought,
I
dude.
don't carry that flip phone with me 24/7, it's always one of
1,
them.
2, 3 or something like that. But I'm saying it gets to
You still
you.
could have it just so you can document things that, you check them later, you know?
You can send them to the rest of us.
Yeah.
Sweet,
You
all
can,
right.
you can download them to the computer or, you know, send them in and.
Gotcha.
Conclude the business other than a motion to approve bills for payments. What's going on there, Bob? Good. All right.
It will be out here in a few minutes.
So the call I left on, the reason I left was a building fire close to a house. Getting route, the dispatch called back. It was just a reflection off of a mirror, off of a window, and it was just a recreational fire. So that's why I turned around.
Oh, holy cow.
That's why I came home. Well,
Big
how
window.
many people
Neighbors looking out
responded?
for
you know?
neighbors?
We used to get that down in the metro all the time, so that the
all these
sun would shine off one of the big buildings and somebody, there's a fire across
voids
the
are-
river. Oh, it's just the sun and reflection.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, and where's the smoke, Adrian?
There's all these voids, is this because it's, this, because they're,
Direct
deposit now?
Yeah. That's mandatory direct deposit for the fire department.
Payroll, you wanna look at payroll?
Not really, I don't, but yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she needs that, Jeff.
What's wrong with this?
You better give some to Scott so he can see.
I have no idea.
Them check numbers and I was supposed to go off, but it's in, it's tomorrow's payroll.
I will not be at the next city council meeting because I am going on vacation. I need to.
Ireland?
No, I'm just going to the cabin.
Oh. Didn't last year you go to Ireland at this time?
Yeah, it was a year ago, yeah.
I'll be gone Friday.
And next year, we're going to Italy.
Oh, nice.
Italy.
Rome?
No. Not if I can help it.
I had a lady get,
Toga.
I had a lady get in my face about, as I was promoting some, Italian crusted chicken. And I said, Italian, and she says, it's not Italy, it's Italy, it's Italian. This is down in Chicago. And I looked at her like, I don't really care. And she kept talking to me, and I turned my back to her and walked away. Her husband was telling her to back off. And then my partner squealed on me to the corporate that I was inattentive to the customer because she wanted to lecture me.
I used to had some, this guy. Then I did it this way.
What are you laughing at? I had my microphone on. Did you shut yours off?
No, I haven't.
So the reason why I was late today was I had can't think now.
Anything else?
Red is off.
I'll get that ordinance put together for that driveway, so.
Yes,
you can go
definitely.
after, let's do it right, as AHM. And then I'll get you that letter, as well. email that to you guys, Sam and Shane.
Yes.
Al, I can't think.
For the,
My brakes.
297.
Yeah.
Brake
See what
chamber.
we can do.
No, and, I mean.
Had a brake chamber go today at 4:30. A mile away from my
I
destination.
can tell you though.
Guess what they were when I got that thing
Sometimes
caged?
You have to.
Gone, went home.
You have to just say, we're gonna go on.
That's
and
all.
yours might-
Missed my delivery.
yours might cost you more in the future, because we may have to assess.
Then I had to
because of
stop,
extra
pick
cost,
up a new one.
Or we may just let this go.
There you go, Tricia, hand it off, there you go.
And that, unfortunately.
So that is
I know
why
one
I
time
was
we
late.
had to do it, and then all of a sudden, everybody got religion.
I had to go home and wash a bunch of dirty grease.
I said, yeah.
I was on the side of Highway 61, south of Hugo,
I do think you've got.
and they were zipping by
you
me,
know, that one
60
guy
miles an
who's
hour, no room to move over.
Opposed to it
And I was underneath that truck, and I was just praying that nobody rear end that truck while I was, because I was in front of my drive tire.
Anybody in the neighborhood that is to go knock on doors, I think.
We don't wanna go into it tonight.
They want to stay right alongside the trailer.
And so I think.
I couldn't get, and then my
The question is, let's get it to everybody we know is going to jump on board. You know what I mean?
My suspension was dropping, so when I went to crawl out of there, I couldn't fit.
Let's let the city.
So my shirt rolled up, and I got grease over my belly. And
I'm looking forward to moving forward.
otherwise, you and Mike and like boys from the and you guys are getting quiet, and it's kind of winding down. And then headed over to the bar, and I think we came back here. On the 50/50.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Motion adjourned. No, I got it.
Motion carries.
I got it.
Motion to adjourn.
Jeff got the second.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.